I mean, I think it's kind of a big deal. I don't know. I mean, I know you got fired and you tried to act like it wasn't a big deal at all. But yeah, but I mean, you wanted to play golf. So I'll go out. Oh, shit, I got to go. See, yeah, man. I'll call you back. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's JG. That's me. And it's you. That's you. And we are doing the Brain Drain live from Montgomery, Alabama. Another beautiful day in, we'll just call it for shits and giggles, Lower Alabama. What a day we're having today. I have been a beat writer at Auburn since 1998, and 1998 was the pinnacle of shit going crazy for Auburn, specifically on October 23rd, 1998. That was the day that Terry Bowden either got fired or resigned, depending on how you look at it. And I never thought we would see a period of time that was that crazy. And yet, here we are, 25 years later, or 24 years later, excuse me, we are here. And in one day, really in 1 hour, we had a new athletic director chosen, John Cohen from Mississippi State University. And within that hour, I believe it was 19 minutes exactly, Brian Harsin fired, but not even fired by name. Just a release sent out that said Auburn University going in a different direction with his football program. I mean, jeez. That is absolutely savage. I don't care who you are. We've got some super chats coming in from some of our absolute legends. Hornatius jumped in early. I've got a sat on. Give me a laugh on that. We'll give him an applause. I'm sure his wife's fired up about that. No more hot, crazy women. That's probably a reference to the Kardashians. Crocky Poo says, "Oh, baby, let's go, Wardam Eagle." Crocky Poo, you know we love you, bro. Crocky Poo is usually one of our basketball legends, but he also cares about football, and he's an Auburn fan. He loves Auburn in general, so we're glad to have Crocky Poo with us. Cleveland Brown, of course, reminding us to stay hydrated in War Eagle. Thank you, Cleveland. I am going to be drinking today. We're going to be drinking this pinhook, this orange top pinhook. You wonder, JG, it's not Saturday. How did you know? I was ready. So we'll drink some pinhook, and we will stay hydrated, of course, with water and BioLite, Cleveland. If you're into this kind of thing, it's a great way to stay hydrated. Hayden, my man, what's up, brother? I didn't see you last time on the show, but I'm glad to have you here now. Super Chat says, "Freeze time, baby War Eagle JGT." What's up, Hayden? Glad to have you, man. One of our legends. CDF jumping in. You guys know him on the bunker at auburnsports.com as Duff-Diver, one of our favorite people from Texas, the greater Houston area, although he's from Alabama. So it's about time. Speaking of time, you talking about
who is swag, baby? Who is? Oh, prime, preach.
You're talking about prime time, aren't you? What's up, Duff Diver? We know who Duff Diver. We know where he stands, and we are going to get to that once we talk about Harsin a little bit, Cohen a little bit, and then we're going to go into, I guess, our preliminary hot board here at auburnsports.com because it's that time. Josh asked this earlier before we went actually live. Says, JG, who has Cohen shared a hot tub with? that is a good question. But with Allen gone, I don't know if we care as much, right? Captain Eagle Fly get in the house. Avery in the house as well. Unbelievable. Feel like a stranger? With a super chat here, says LFG, call Klesi get hype. Oh, man, that's a low blow right there. Of course, Klesi, former, I guess, administrative or special assistant to the head coach, who's not here anymore. So we'll see how that goes in time, I guess. Kanuman, one of our all-time favorites from the state of Tennessee, although he's not originally from there, I don't believe, gives us a boom and a War Eagle. Let's do this Commodore BDJ. Well, we won't really say what that stands for, but we all know what it actually means. Also, Blake checking in from the East Coast just gives us a hashtag he gone. Blake was one who was getting really tired of Auburn getting thrashed all the time and the no changes made at the head coach. So he's probably pretty fired up right now. T-Roy Tiger, who had an opportunity to meet in August at the Drawdown at Troy University. He is not just a name. That's not just a clever name for him. He is, in fact, a Tiger from Troy. Says, let the words of the prophet Rice of Madison ring true. Can Harsin this pathetic? I believe that was during the Penn State game, right, when noted bunker author Rice, DP 105, of Madison, of the greater Madison/Huntsville area, drunkenly said, can Harsin this pathetic? Good stuff, man. Sammy in the house as well. Sammy, big week for us, bro. Us horse racing fans. Breeders' Cup week. We'll be at Keeneland this weekend. I will not be. I don't think Sammy is either, but I know Cass DP will be there. What a day, Jay. Breeders' Cup entries today, and Uncle Neil is talking about Assless Chaps live on the other stream. Man, I would love to hear that. That would be really, really good. Josh C. in the house as well had the hilarious comment earlier about the hot tub. JG, who does Cohen have connections with? Who will be interim head coach? That is a great question. Actually, let me check and see. This is going to be one of those shows, I think, where I'm going to have to check my phone sometimes, which I don't like doing, but I will do sometimes because, stuff's coming in and out. My phone was, ringing nonstop for, an hour. It's kind of cooled off now. They actually just went into a team meeting and where they're going to be talking about, what happened. Rich is going to make kind of a presentation, and I have been around for many of these meetings, and they are neither good nor satisfied, the players, during these meetings. They want more answers than they can get. And going into the meeting, there was not a ironclad plan that I had been able to distill about who the interim was going to be. If I had to guess, I would say Rock Bellantoni. He has some experience doing that, and he is a universally adored dude who has a broad base of skills. He's a special teams guy by trade, but he also does defensive line. He could do a lot of different stuff, and if you know Rock, he's just got that personality. He has got an effervescence about him that I think would be very useful right now. So that's my initial thought on that, Josh, and we'll just have to see how this goes. Also, J.S. jumping in, one of the old school fans from the old Hobotten days. What's up, Jay? I will never forget the Tubbs ouster on the Hobotten. Full circle 14 years later. I just said that, and you indeed were referencing the old days. I still can't believe how long it's been, man. When we did the Hobotten in, what was that? Probably started that in 06. That was the hottest Auburn blog on the net. That's a blog I did in a connection with the Montgomery Advertiser. And I got a funny Montgomery Advertiser story to tell you right now. But, the Hobotten, I love the old school folks. I know Jay's here. Scotty B is here for sure. I think Kathy, I saw her posting on the bunker today. She was pretty fired up because she was absolutely done with Harsin, and she was glad to kind of get a little bit of a reprieve there. So thanks for your long-term support there, sir. Nacho Hombre, this guy's an absolute legend. It's his best day ever, smoking cigars and pounding tequila to celebrate. Oh, my goodness. Please drink responsibly, and as Cleveland Brown would remind you, and I do too, please stay hydrated, okay? Let's make good decisions. Dave Brown says, can someone remind me
who is Swag, baby? Who is? Oh, Prime, preach.
We're going to be playing a lot of Prime. I need to get some other Prime snippets, I guess, because it's going to be very in vogue to do that for the next period of time. Power Man says, what are we talking about today? And it's just a Monday, whatever. We can just talk about things. Mark says, Stults can no longer claim Halloween as the worst holiday after this. We were actually in the auburnsports.com group chat earlier. I think Henry was bagging on him about it. He was like, this is this is a great Halloween, isn't it, Stults? And he actually got kind of a kick out of that. Josh G jumping in the house as well, saying, it's prime time. Appreciate the support, brother. And what else we got? Bourbon Bowl. We don't deserve you, Bourbon Bowl. He says, now that he's gone, I'm back. Love you, JG. Don't deserve you, bro. No, we don't deserve you, Bourbon Bowl. I saw you posted about that earlier. Those of you who, Corey jumped in as well. What up, brother? Says, R.I.P. Auburn's Botox. R.I.P. Auburn's Botox injury. It was a good run. Time to bring Lane or Dion home. You mean this guy right here?
Who is Swag?
I would be on board with that for sure. Tanner Dupree says JGT is the James Spann of Auburn football. If I'm live and it's not Saturday, there's a problem, right? Casa DP says, what is today's secret word? Or is it still Sanders?
Who is Swag?
We ought to actually make a new one today. Probably ought to just be the word cinnamon. I don't know, because it's kind of spicy, but yet nice and tasty. At least that's how I interpret it. Leif B in the house as well. One of our friends from Rebel Grove, Ole Miss friend, longtime supporter. We love him. Glad to have you here, bro. Making sure I don't miss any. Oh, of course we wouldn't miss Stu Pub. He's here every single time. Today is the best day of the year. Auburn fans have hope again. Won't count for much this year, but we have hope again going forward. Hashtag hotty ho. Stu, I knew you were a Hobotten guy. Why did I not mention you were there? And MWD was as well, he says. Real Deal checking in from the greater Huntsville area. What up, Real Deal? This ought to be a fun day for your wifey. I know she loves dressing up. She'd be a great witch or some kind of a, I don't know. I don't want to say. I almost said what she does for an actual living. She would just be fun to kind of play dress up with. We're going to drink some of this Pinhook, yo. Hold on. Let me finish these super chats, and then we'll get over to our main page, and we'll start doing some serious talking because I got some. Oh, Jackson 3 says, Cinnamon Sanders.
Who is swag, baby? Who is? Oh, prime preach.
Love it. Brandon says, I'm addicted to you saying Sanders. We did say it a bunch on the Saturday show, didn't we? We sure did. Okay, let's bounce over to our main page here. Really not much difference except it now says Harsin out, Cohen in, which I know is going to bring a smile to a lot of faces here. Let me get back to my main man. We'll drop T-Roy Tiger on here. CDF, I saw you, though, bro. Thank you very much for that, and I hope we have a chance to play some of that new Call of Duty, brother. Mama Doodat jumping in, of course, from the greater Indiana area. Mr. Coach Klein actually used the phrase Eagle Fly Goods earlier today as a reference to just kind of like ham and egger Auburn fans, rank and file, some would say. Mama Doodat, of course, as I mentioned earlier, from Indiana. Auburn's Hot Tub Time Machine sequel sucked. Indeed. And a Fat Crack jumping in as well. Hot board live on the drain. Yes, I do. I have a preliminary hot board I will roll out here shortly. But I did want to take a minute to kind of work through what all has transpired today. For those of you, you can see that there in the bottom left of your screen. That's kind of like the headlines. And those of you, some of the Eagle Fly Goods might not know a lot about what's been going on, but I think most of the folks on this show do know what's going on. Y'all seriously remind me because I'll sit here and babble all damn day. I was talking to J-Head earlier, and he wants to come on at 3:20. Okay, it's currently 3:09. So if you guys remind me, those of you here, I tell you, I just have Kanuman handle that because Kanuman's really good at this. At 3:20, remind me I got to call J-Head. Okay, we got to get him on the horn. Captain Eagle Flygood says, don't appreciate a key part of our game day experience being used as disparagement. GG32 says, if you put Sanders at 70%. I didn't do percentages just yet. I'm not there. We're in a crazy period right now where you've got, Rich is kind of like sliding a little bit. He was the second interim, and then he will soon give way to John Cohen, who was hired this afternoon or this morning over from Mississippi State. I did mention on Elf on a Shelf, JG. Is that what she's going as? Really? I'd like to see that. Shane says the Eagle Fly Goods. Yes, for me that is like the new phrase. It's the perfect phrase for the people who are like, yeah. And Brian H has used this on Twitter before. It's not a word of disparagement. It's not Captain Eagle Fly Good. It's just kind of a word of people who follow Auburn, like Auburn, but they kind of follow it like they're Eagle Fly Goods. Like they go to the game and they go, the Eagle flew good, and they don't know who Landon King is, and they don't know who Trey Citizen is and who he was and why he's not here and where he is now and stuff like that. I mean, those are those people, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. BB wants to know about Urban Meyer. Come on, guys. No. Urban Meyer. All right, so the news starts kind of early today. Now, I put an update on the board yesterday morning at auburnsports.com about how the Cohen thing was definitely gathering steam, but there was a very vocal group of people who thought he was an absolutely horrible hire. Like, this is a terrible idea. I didn't get a lot of detail on what their issue was specifically with him, but they were hopping mad about it, and they made their position known throughout the day on Sunday to Roberts and to other people aligned with Roberts about this choice. Now, as I understand it, Cohen is kind of an inoffensive person in a general sense. I don't think he's a guy who's like running his mouth. I mean, he's not like Stephen Leith or anything like that. So I don't know. I'd like to get a little bit more information on that. But I said Sunday morning, this was definitely a bone of contention for folks, and there was going to be a lot of bitching about it. As we got into the later hours of the day, a good number of those people had just kind of throttled down on that. I still think people were pissed, but not as many people like super adamant about it. And I said on the bunker, I put an update around, I want to say it was 7 or 8 o'clock, and I said, listen, guys, I think it's going to be Cohen anyway. I think it's going to be, I think I put it at 80 to 85%. I think it'll be tomorrow. I think it's going to be fine, et cetera, et cetera. And that's exactly how it went down. Now, what I was not ready for. We had everything ready for Cohen. We knew that was going to happen. I had no idea they were going to fire Harsin today because I was just like, you guys know, those of you who watch the brain drain, I thought he was done after the LSU game. At that point on this show, I said, it's over. There is literally nothing you can benefit from having him here a minute longer. I'm not one of these out here bitching and saying Harsin sucks or anything like that. I was just saying it's over. Like we've hit the end of the road here. The president was not moved by that. I got to drink some water. Damn. Harsin's getting me here. I just felt like that was the end, man. And might as well just move on from it. He goes another week to the Ole Miss game, gets beat again. I'm like, I'm still out. We go through the whole off week, and I'm still completely out. And I'm talking on the bunker, what are they doing? Because there's not that much time, right? Today's the last day of October. The transfer portal opens on the 5th, I think, of December. So we've only got like 4.5 weeks, right? You can't just dick around like this. You've got to fire him and get him gone. And get your search underway. Or you leave him as a lame duck, but he ain't going to do that. I mean, Harsin's not a lame duck kind of guy. So I was sitting there going, how is he going to fix this problem? How is the president going to continue dragging his feet on the firing situation and then not have anything going? Well, guess what? He solved 2 in 1 hour. So there we go. Shit's blowing up, man. Okay. We do have Stults and Brian on tap when we need him, but we are going to start off with J-Head. I saw that Rejects was wanting to jump on the line, but I got to have a few minutes here to get things started. We'll go to J-Head, and then we'll work on Rejects too, okay? It ain't because I don't love you, because you know I love you. Okay, so let me go to a pain that I made earlier today. I mentioned this a little bit on the bunker earlier. Actually, I wrote a story about it, or like a really long bunker post about it, which was what went wrong with Brian Harsin. And we love talking about, there's no shortage of symptoms that we talk about, things that the Eagle Fly Goods might not know a whole lot about. But I mean, those of you who are watching the show, who post on the bunker, who read, us or On 3 or Jason and Mark and Nate's stuff over at 24/7, you guys keep up with it, and so you know specifically what's going wrong. Here are the things that I think are going wrong. The critical and the secondary stuff. Didn't listen to and / did not respect good counsel. That's a big thing. We did get a super chat coming through from Ryan S., who's an absolute stud, by the way. Former Huntsville resident, current Nashville resident, and we love him. Drinking some Smoke Wagon Small Bash tonight. Eagle flew good today. What's up, Corey Dub? And AU 256 in the house as well, one of our friends from the Madison County area. All right. Bring the Barn says we need to get Fat Tom 22 on the horn. Fat Tom correctly predicted. I don't even know if he predicted at that point. He knew this stuff was going down. Thanks, Ryan S. I appreciate you so much. You've been with us a long time, and you've been really awesome. So my column today was about how you could take all the shit he did wrong and put it into one sentence. And that one sentence was, he didn't know how to listen to or respect good counsel. Because I swear to you, Brian Harsin has good people around him. I mentioned a few of them in the column. Brent Bedsole, his director of high school, or his high school liaison. He's been coaching, and he's been in college coaching and high school coaching for like 30 years. He knows what time it is, all right? And I don't think he gets listened to very much. Brad Larondo, who is Harsin's chief of staff, I mean, the guy has the broadest base of skills I know. I mean, he called games. He does like the A-Day game. Like, seriously, he calls it. He's coached before. He's been an administrator before. He's been an SID before. He's been a broadcaster before. This guy knows lots of stuff, and he knows how to see things from like 10,000 feet. I don't know as though his ideas got taken in very often. Harsin didn't listen to some good counsel that he was getting. And it was like he just was like, well, I'm the only one who can do this thing the right way. I'm the only one who's got the right answer to this. And I think a good leader's got to have people around him, not just yes men and yes women, but people around him that give you ideas, new ideas, different ways of thinking about things, and you can take that information and process it and come up with good ideas to move the organization forward. He didn't do that. He didn't have that skill. So that's that. In addition, he didn't respect high-level recruiting. I don't think he took it seriously. I don't think he ever looked at this and said, Is he been the hizzy? Is he really? Here he is. What up, B-Man? I don't think he took recruiting seriously. Now, I think B-Matt would agree with me on this. I've said this on the bunker. I don't know as I made a big point of it, but he felt like recruiting was something somebody else did. I'll hire people to recruit. We'll get Steven Ruzick in here. We'll get Drew Fabianich in here. We'll get Rock Bellantoni in here. He's a good recruiter down in South Florida. We'll get these people, and they'll handle it for me. And that's not how it works now, man. Nick Saban's out there recruiting. Kirby Smart's out there recruiting. You've got to fight that fire with your own fire. It had to be him, and he wouldn't do it. I'm going to do that jumping in as well. Dule Hill and Liv Schreiber star as Green and Harsin in Auburn Hot Tub Time Machine 2.0 coming to theaters near you. I don't think it would get a lot of views, Mama Do That, but it's a good idea. Didn't respect NIL. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You guys knew about that. I mean, in the beginning, he was just like, this is going to divide our roster. I'm like, wrong take, bro. Finally, kids are getting remunerated as I felt like they should have been. Those of you who listen to G-Pits know that years ago I was against it. But Neil convinced me otherwise. Neil McCready, my friend that runs the Ole Miss site, he would say, these kids need to get a cut of the pie, and I agree with him now. And so when it was time, on July 1st of 2021, and NIL went into effect, the coaches have got to embrace it, and he didn't do it. He didn't fill obvious roster holes. We all knew that offensive line needed to be redone. You can tell me all day long that they're experienced, but being experienced and being good are two completely different things. And we've watched all damn year where the most experienced offensive line in the SEC ain't very good. Now, Tank Bigsby erases some of those problems because he's so good. Jarquez, El Damari's been really good. Thank you, Shane. I just got a text from him, too, but I wanted to finish this one little thing here. So those four things up at the top to me were critical. Also, in the secondary bucket, things that he also was bad at but didn't necessarily kill him directly. Didn't politic until it was way too late. I felt like he's been doing some of that in the last 2 months, but shoot, man, it's about over. Took an unnecessarily hard stand on player issues that can kind of go and that can dovetails a little bit with NIL. Also dovetails with that new policy that some people in the bunker have had a hard time with, which is that if you're healthy, I don't want to hear about a red shirt. Particularly if you're playing and you're healthy, play. No red shirting. And we know that Landon King recently asked for a red shirt. It was about a month ago. He just broke it on social media maybe 3 or 4 days ago. He was playing. He is playing, or he was. He was playing on special teams. He wasn't getting a lot of snaps on offense. But he's an important part of the team, and then he said, I'm in a red shirt. And it pissed Harsin off, and he thought it was BS. I don't necessarily disagree with the policy. I would imagine that the way that he explained the policy or brought it to the players was probably a little more aggressive than it needed to be if it's on par with everything else he does. He's not relatable. I kind of enjoyed talking to him the times I did, but it's kind of like if I was interviewing the Marlboro Man, like it would be fun and cool, but you're not really getting a lot out of it, and I don't think he's very relatable. He didn't accept responsibility well at all. Gus kind of had a problem with this too, as this team was sucking in the last 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. You don't hear a lot of, yeah, we got to get better as coaches. You hear a lot of, well, we're not executing. And I think people take it the wrong way. They say it's like putting on the kids. You know, everything that's happening out there ain't on the kids. They're the ones actually playing the game, but you've got to get them in a better position to win. And you go out there against Georgia and you lay an egg like that, like that's not all on the kids. Game management was suspect as well. I was actually disagreeing with this. One of our friends, AULAX, on the board, who runs the great app that we use, the ranked college football app, Jake G., was saying he didn't think that Harsin's game management was too bad, but I keep thinking back to the Mississippi State game last year. It was horrible. And you think about the Alabama game last year, I mean, Auburn's AWS official percentage of winning that game was at like 95% at one point. And all they got to do is play it conservative and finish it out, and they don't do it. And they end up losing that game embarrassingly. Those are all the things that I think went wrong. And that's a hell of a lot of stuff right there. In fact, if you didn't know what was going on and you weren't even an Eagle fly good, you were just kind of like an Auburn person who doesn't even know who Harskins is, thinks that Cheesenet is still the coach, you'd look at this list and say, is this guy trying to suck? Well, no, he's not. But, man, he did a lot of stuff wrong. Lots and lots and lots of stuff wrong. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get Sir J-Head on the horn. Sir J-Head, of course, those of you, we have a lot of people on the show right now. Normally we're in like the 300 range. Today we're a little higher than that. J-Head is one of our insiders at auburnsports.com and a guy who knows a whole lot about football. And he likes basketball too, but I think of him as a football expert. So we'll now try to get him on the horn and see what he's got to say about this.
JGT, what's up, brother?
J-Head, what up, brother?
A slow news day.
Yeah, not much going on, huh? Hey, man, did you have any idea he was going to get canned today?
Zero. And I'm going to be completely honest with everybody that's listening. I was told verbatim it would not happen before Texas A&M, and this conversation literally happened 48 hours ago. So either I got snowed, which is, there's a likelihood there, or this was a situation that they found to become it's continuous, Jay. There was no way back at this point. And look, I don't know if this was his plan or not, but if you're Dr. Roberts and you hired someone and there may have been a little bit of discontent about it, and then you fire the most unpopular coach on your campus, your approval rating just went through the roof. Okay, you don't need to worry about anything else at this point. You have 100% won the news day. So, kudos to Dr. Roberts for getting a lot done in a very short period of time.
He sure did. It's been one of those crazy days that we'll remember at all times. Yeah,
I agree.
Halloween 2022, J-Head. The crazy day.
Woof. Even more crazy than the day that you remember what it was like when Gus got fired 2 years back and how just chaotic that day was and how that kind of broke. Today was even more out of the blue than that. And my phone has, and I'm sure yours hasn't, has not stopped getting texts and phone calls and everything else with everything that's been going on between the AD stuff this morning to everything breaking there to now everything with Coach Harsin to where do we go next? And look, I'm ready to dive into whatever you want to talk about first, my man.
Well, I guess what I want to talk about is just, you were on the show Saturday, and I was kind of picking your brain about they have so much to do right now, and they don't have a lot of time to do it because, okay, if you're going to search for a football coach, it's going to take you at least 3 weeks, probably more like a month.
Right.
They hadn't fired him after the game the other day, so I was like, you're running out of time. They didn't have an AD. It seemed like John Cohen was kind of like the new kid on the block. Now that I look back on it, he probably had been considered for a longer period of time than I realized. So I thought the president was really choking this thing away, and then in the span of 19 minutes, he actually gets ahead of the curve. It's pretty amazing.
I would not disagree, Jay, because look, and these things aren't always readily apparent to people. People that are fantastic at their job, like you, like multiple other people that cover this beat, it is your job to know what's going on, and you do a great job at it. But Dr. Roberts realistically had a circle of about 3 to 4 people that he was truly talking to about this coaching search, or not coaching search, this AD search. And so there would be snippets that we would get here and there that would kind of leak out or trickle out. But it was really hard to say. And now, like you said, looking back at it, you can kind of see where, all right, if it were going to be Hartwell at a certain point, it would have been. But that name got out there way too quickly. And how long was he in conversation with Cohen? I think with the deal that they're about to roll out, you're going to see they've been in conversation for a while. This wasn't a situation that happened quickly. So to do that and then to decide that you're going to part ways with Coach Harsin on the day that you do it on, to launch your coaching search officially. So you're going to announce your AD today, probably have a formal press conference sometime this week, then start the formal putting together of whoever your search firm is going to be, if you're going to have a committee or is it just going to be the AD, the president, and those 3 people that he trusted to kind of search on the AD search. However you're going to format that, you have ample time now because we're looking at, 4 weeks before the conclusion of the season, which is the earliest you'd be able to hire a coach anyway, unless you hire somebody who's currently not coaching, a la Matt Rule. That would be the quickest you could do anything anyway. So really, really, I think this is a great day for President Roberts from the standpoint of he got the guy that he wants, and that's the athletic director. He's going to now be able to start his coaching search. This is going to put us ahead of the curve as it pertains specifically to recruiting. And that's what it's all about, right? It's talent acquisition, because right now we do not have enough elite talent on this roster to truly be competitive with our rivals of LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Clemson, the teams that matter, the teams that we compare ourselves to. I'm not comparing myself to Ole Miss. I'm not comparing myself to Mississippi State or Arkansas. That's not where Auburn is as a program. We're a brand. We're a helmet school. We need to act like that. And that's what President Roberts started doing today. And I'm looking forward to see how this starts to unravel moving forward.
Interesting. Yeah, if you're going to bring back some of the pizzazz of that brand, that's a good way to do it. Just kind of get it all done at once. I like that.
Listen, I guarantee you the ticker is going to be talking Auburn today on ESPN. 100%. You took the news.
Well, they're going to probably bitch about it. Hey, listen, some news occurred while we were talking right there, is that Cadillac's going to be the interim coach. Carnell Williams, of course, the former Auburn tailback from Etowah, Alabama, and he's a good dude. Interesting choice. Not a guy who has a lot of experience, but he's a guy who's very loyal to Auburn. That's damn sure.
And here's the thing, and I think this is what everybody realizes, is when you're in a situation like this, you need somebody that loves the university, that's going to sell out for the university, that's going to ride or die with Auburn. That's Cadillac Williams, okay? Carnell is an Auburn man through and through. He's going to make sure that he's setting this team up for success and giving them what they need from an emotional standpoint. You know, there are a lot of players that are going to be hurting on this, Jay. There are going to be a lot of players that are confused, a lot of players that are down and out, and a fan base that needs to be reinvigorated. Okay, Cadillac Williams can help light that spark. You don't have to worry about or question his integrity or his buy-in to the program. And he's going to make sure he gives it every last thing he's got all the way down to the last game through Alabama. So I think that's probably why you let him have this move. And here's the thing. This is a great thing for Cadillac in that, yes, this isn't the best Auburn team we've ever had, obviously, but he gets a shot now to have a head coaching resume. And for somebody that's as ambitious as he is, that probably has ambitions beyond being a running backs coach at Auburn, this will be an opportunity for him to prove himself. Can he get a surprise win against A&M? Can he beat a Western Kentucky? You know, can we go 2-2 down the stretch?
Shoot, that'd be
Maybe.
good.
Right. You know, if you go 2-2 on this schedule with this team, that looks really good for Cadillac moving forward. So I like the move for him personally. I think Caddy's probably – I'm not trying to demean Zach, but I think Cadillac may be a little bit more ready for this than Zach at this point.
Word. Both of them are very good dudes, though. Just very different personalities. I was thinking
Agreed.
about dropping my first kind of hot board on here. Are you willing to chew on a hot board?
I am willing to chew, and I tell you what, I haven't even seen it, but I guarantee you we can label it as such. The NFL coach, the P5 coach, the G5 coach, and the FCS coach. How am I doing there?
You're pretty close. You and I have talked about this a few times in the last few weeks. I've got Hugh Freeze, not in any order.
Sure.
Hugh Freeze, Deion Sanders, Lane Kiffin, Matt Rule, and Jeff Grimes as five guys that I would be keeping a very close eye on at this point. And the guys on this list, J-Head, have kind of gone up and down a little bit for me during the last couple of weeks, honestly. Deion Sanders and Lane Kiffin, to me, are a little bit hotter, and Hugh Freeze maybe a little less so.
Yes.
But who knows?
I would say that, and look, here's the thing, Jay. Just because what we're hearing right now, me and you both know that these things go in and out, and sometimes things are designed to get hotter than others at differing times. But I agree with you right now, particularly as it pertains to Lane. I think that name is, in the Auburn sphere, that's red hot right now. And I'm walking back on, and I know MWD, if he calls in, he is going to be absolutely ecstatic to hear one of us say that. But his name has definitely started to percolate some. I 100% think that he is going to be spoken to. He is 100% a candidate you should watch for. And along with Jeff Grimes, I think that the top four we all agree on, but along with Jeff Grimes, I think you also should probably pay attention to names. If we get to a coordinator position, Jeff Grimes, Charles Kelly, and, Kevin. As much as nobody wants to hear me say that.
Stop.
Got support, man. I think that's like you're way down the list if you get there, but I do think that Kevin has support in that building, and if for whatever reason we got beyond that top four, he would be in consideration.
There is something interesting to think about on this, J-Head, which is, I got a question from a very influential and rich person recently, and they said, JG, if it was up to you, would you spend more money on the coach or would you spend more money on NIL? Meaning, if Auburn had to choose to go one way or another, and I think he was kind of couching it like, would you consider doing Jeff Grimes at like $4.5 million a year and then putting the other $5 million a year into NIL? Or would you rather blow the bank on Lane Kiffin and have to go a little tighter on NIL? And I wasn't sure what to tell him. I am more intrigued myself in going the Jeff Grimes route if that was what I had to do. But maybe there's enough money to do both, brother. I don't know.
This is the thing, and this is what I will say. Now, you and I both know that I have been a proponent of talent acquisition is the biggest part of college football right now. If you get that right, it makes X's and O's a hell of a lot easier, okay? Bad plays sometimes become good plays when you've got dudes on the field. That said, you can only accrue so much talent, and you need to make sure that the coach that you have can execute with that talent. So when all talent is equal, okay? You know what I mean? If we get up to a point where we have the same number of talented players or enough game breakers that we're competitive with Alabama, you need to have a coach at the helm that knows what to do when he gets there. So it's a good combination of the two. I mean, what I would hope is that there's enough to leverage it on the coach that you feel the most passionately about and also invest in NIL. But if you're having to make a choice, if it's me, you're putting that money into NIL and you're sacrificing a little bit on the coaching front if you think that's going to put more impact players on the field. Yeah. Because to me, Jay, that's the most glaring thing. I think we've got a handful of impact players on this team. I really do. And I think you got a group of young ones like a Camden Brown that's going to be an impact player in the years to come. But we don't have enough guys right now in the 2 and 3 deep. So you see it on defense right now. For a half, we can be competitive. But when we get in excess of 40, 50, 60 snaps, everything goes sideways because the guys that we have that are on that second tier just aren't at the level that everybody else is that we're competing against right now.
That's right. You
need to have more depth. We don't have it. So if you got to pick one of the two, it's NIL for me. But let's hope that our fundraisers are as good and talented as I think they are, and we can figure out a way to do both.
Deion's an interesting one too because I don't know how expensive he would be. He's independently wealthy, so I don't know. He's going to want to get paid what everybody else in his spot would get paid. But you may not have to break the bank for him. And, man, if you gave him a big-ass NIL coffer, a big treasure chest, he could do some real work, I think. If you talk about talent acquisition.
There's no question. Now, here's the thing with Deion is that if he will let Auburn work with him, let him pick, but work with him on putting together a staff, I have no doubt that Deion Sanders can walk into any living room in America and lock a kid up. He's already shown that he can do that in one-offs. Now, he hasn't had to do that for every kid, okay? He hasn't had to go toe-to-toe with Saban and Dabo and Kirby and, Mario and all the other big-time recruiters for every kid in the class. And that's what you do at Auburn, okay? You're not just recruiting, 1 or 2 kids every year where you're having to, man up against the big boys. It's everybody, okay? Because if you're not competing against those people for recruits, and look, I'm not saying that you don't have to make some good evals. You got to have some Roger McCreary's on your team, okay? You got to have some blue-collar dogs from Mobile, Alabama. But in that breath, the majority of your team needs to be impact players. You need to have a high-end blue-chip ratio where more than 60% of your talent is 4- and 5-star. That's just the God's honest truth, okay? It lessens your margin for error if you're recruiting at that clip.
Hey, J-Head, that's who you're going against. That's what Georgia's got. That's what Alabama's got. That's what LSU's got. If you're going to beat them and you're going to daddy them, then you got to get up to that level, period.
That's right. And I'm not saying you don't have to have the same class they have, but you got to have enough. And if you don't have enough, which is where we're at right now, you see what the end product is, right? It's not good enough. It's not up to Auburn's standard. And Auburn's standard is competing for championships, period. That is who we are. That is what we want to do. That is what we aspire to be. And I don't think we should settle for anything less than that.
Word. I love your attitude about it, J-Head. It's a good way to look at it. Don't cheapen your brand. Act like you've been there and act like you've got high expectations.
Exactly. Look, 2010 was just almost a decade ago. All right, we won a national championship a decade ago at this point. Played in 2 SEC championships in 2013 and 2017. There's no reason why we should be at the point that we're at right now. That's not Auburn.
Yeah. J-Head, listen, man, I always like talking to you on Saturdays. This is the first time I've ever had you on the show on a weekday. But Thank you for giving us some time, bro.
No, love to be on. Listen, I hope that everybody is having a fantastic day. You should definitely have anybody that, if you want to express your excitement, put a GIF in the chat. All right, let us know how you say what you're thinking today. Don't let it be the potatoes GIF, okay? I've seen that enough today.
Everybody's potatoing today, big time.
No, listen.
Don't do it.
Great day great day for Auburn. Great day for Chris Roberts. I am very, very interested that we are on the precipice of this coaching search and where this leads us to. But I fully believe that our next head coach is probably on that list, Jay. That's what I think. I think everybody should probably take a lot of value in what you've got up there right now. Listen to what you have to say, and I hope everybody has a great day, okay?
All right. We'll see you, J-Head. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Bye. There he is, Sir J-Head, one of our favorite posters at auburnsports.com. And I've got to move myself into that one. Yeah. All right. Awesome to have J-Head on. I got a bunch of super chats to get to. Quan had one. I left it up here for a while. It says, "Are you good or are you satisfied?" Cue up Prime Preach.
Who is Swag? Baby? Who is? Oh, Prime Preach.
That's such an incredible soundbite. Flying Around jumped in as well. Flying Around, of our friends from up near Birmingham, says Juice the dog is going to look good in orange and blue. Juice, of course, the unofficial mascot at Ole Miss these days. That is Lane Kiffin's dog, who has his own Twitter handle and his own NIL deal. It's a lot of fun if you follow Juice. In fact, our friend Stacy Wall, formerly of Pinnacle Trust, who is now retired, he had a placard, like a flag, I guess, at Vaught Hemingway a few weeks ago that just said Juice on it, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Love it so much. We also had some other super chats come through. I know War Eagle 0008 had one. Here he is right here. Oh, goodness. Double-clicked that one accidentally. Neon Dion. Wardam Eagle fellas, great day today. Let's go get our man. Yes, Deion Sanders is somebody they're going to definitely talk to. I have absolutely no doubt about it. How will that go? I mean, I have some questions about Deion Sanders because, and I was talking to my man D. Lucky about this earlier, that big jump in just life, like just the things you've got to do from Jackson State to Auburn, particularly when you start thinking about Auburn from the perspective of what J-Head was saying, which was if you're going to get Auburn back to where it's competing with Georgia and Alabama, you've got to act like it. And so you're going to have to not just coach at this big level, you're going to have to thrive at this level, and it's going to take a lot. Now, can he do it? I think he's got some very unique qualities that nobody else on that list has. And as J-Head said, if you're talking about going in and winning over a kid and his family, I would trust him more than anybody on that list. Prime. And another thing that's odd about him, I guess all those guys are probably independently wealthy. Rule just got a big deal, big buyout from the Panthers. Lane Kiffin obviously has done very, very well for himself. Deion Sanders is off the chain. And then Hugh Freeze has made a bunch of money too. So independently wealthy, I was kind of thinking that would just be Sanders, but the more I think about it, there's several of those guys. And I think it affects what you would do as a coach. I think you look at things a little differently when you're independently wealthy. And you think not just what's the best financial opportunity for me, but what's the best platform for me to do what I want to do or be who I want to be. Auburn is a very, very big platform. You can do a lot of stuff with that. J Bell jumping in. A one-time caller. We'd love to have her on again. Says $24 for 24 Cadillac Williams interim. I am surprised by this because Cadillac isn't very comfortable as he's not comfortable in the spotlight. He's never been a spotlight kind of guy, right? He's just a country dude who loves football, and he's a very nice person. He's an incredibly nice person and an incredibly humble person, especially considering how much of a stud he was earlier in his life. But I just think he would get nervous and stuff being out in front like that. But we're going to find out. And he's certainly been a loyal soldier, and he's all Auburn. I mean, he chose Auburn at a time when people weren't choosing Auburn. And that wave of excellence that Tuberville kind of coaxed, right? Because when Tuberville took over, it was an absolute mess. Cadillac was really that moment where, and I know you could argue that Rudy Johnson in 2000 was he pulled Auburn up a little bit for sure, but when Cadillac committed to Auburn over Alabama and Tennessee at that time, and he came to Auburn and he was a sensation from his freshman year on, man, that was when Auburn started really cooking. And, yeah. If there's no Carnell, then I don't think there's a 2004 team. I mean, that's just my opinion because he just got things going so much. So good call there, J. Bell. I know you're going to be fired about that. Nugas Who Dis says hot bard. Nugas Who Dis, one of our favorites from the greater Birmingham area, and whose wife's incredible as well. I've had a chance to meet her and dine with her and him together, of course. Let's see what else we got coming through here. We got a couple other super chats. I never want to miss one. WarriorGold0008 had another one. What would it take in dollars to get Prime $4 million? You know, as I mentioned, he's independently wealthy, so I don't think you've got to like necessarily break the bank for him, but you can't disrespect him either. So I would think you'd pay him just kind of probably in like the $8 million range. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I don't think he needs it, but he wouldn't want to, you know, it's not like he wants to work for $1. I honestly think that Deion Sanders' first question, well, he'd have two probably right away. And I was actually talking to my wife about this. I want to go over there and talk to him at Jackson if he would squeeze me in. He probably would, just for a short period of time. First of all, are you going to leave me the F alone and let me do my thing? And two, how much NIL money are you going to give me? That's what I'd be asking. If I'm going to go out here, he got Travis Hunter, obviously, to come to Jackson State, did a hell of a job with it. If I'm going to go do that again and again and again, 5 times a year and get a bunch of top 10 players, I need a big war chest. So give me a big war chest. Auburn's done a great job, actually, of raising money here in the last, what are we talking about, 2 months here? 3 months? CFB Addict knows a little bit about that, too. They've raised some real money. And I think that, and someone mentioned this in the chat earlier, now that this situation with Harsin has been rectified and you know what time it is, that somebody's going to be coming in here, you got a new AD to work on it, I think that fundraising is only going to get stronger. Also got a super chat coming through from the Canoeman. My man, guess who's back? Please smash the like button. Thank you for your support on that, Canoeman. Got a lot of folks on the show. We'd love to see more thumbs up if you guys are enjoying the content at all. Even if you're not enjoying the content, I'd still give it a thumbs up. Why not? Let's see. I know I missed another. Max Smith jumps in with a super chat. What's up, bro? Says War Eagle, about time. Max has been one of those that's just kind of been waiting. Been watching the team just kind of ossify these last, year? No, I'm just kidding. These last, 6 weeks, I guess? I mean, that Missouri game was just such a fluky, weird deal. It's tough, man. When you're invested in Auburn, you care about Auburn, you grew up maybe in an era when Auburn was kicking ass, whether that be in the 80s, which would have been a great time to do it. Maybe they're in the 2000s, and you're watching Auburn beat Alabama 6 times in a row, and you're like, this is the way it's always going to be. And then you're losing to Georgia by 40 or 50, and it's like, God dang it. Well, this has got to change. It's getting to be about that time. I see Auburn alumni in the chat as well, putting up some of his realness like he always does. Chaz Music in the house as well. What's up, bro? Jeff C. jumping in, one of our all-time favorites from the greater Nashville area, kind of like Canoeman. Says, yes, great day in Auburn football history, or as Gus would say, that's pretty solid. There's no doubt it's a good day. Thanks, Jeff C. A musician at heart, along with he and his wife and his kids, by the way. Appreciate you, Jeff C. War Eagle 0008 jumps in yet again. This guy, unbelievable, man. Mims and Jones would be Auburn's tackles instead of Georgia's if Prime was at AU. The difference that would have made even back to Gus's tenure is insane. I mean, Deion's only been at Jackson State. I think this is his 3rd year. So, I mean, who knows? But he's obviously making very quick work of coaching a major college program. And in the SWAC, the way he has taken Jackson State to the forefront, I mean, it's not an easy job at this point, just maintaining everything. I mean, they had game day there, for goodness sakes. And he has absolutely got the SWAC on lockdown at this point. Fat Crack says, Tank about to get 40 carries a game. That's right, with Carnell in charge, right? Carnell will say, man, when I was at Georgia, listen to this story, man. There was this one night at Georgia. Yeah, I think Carnell had, 40? I bet BMAT members. 42 carries, something like that, in a win. Mason T jumps in, says, did Harsin participate in enough games to burn his red shirt? Absolutely love that. Kind of playing on the fact that Harsin doesn't like it when people do optional red shirts. He's not a fan. Not a fan at all. Garrett D jumps in as well, says, what's your thought on Hoke meeting with Harsin? Well, I guess it didn't happen. Yeah, so I didn't know about that. Actually, Hoke and I have blocked each other on Twitter. I don't really know why, but we have. And so I don't ever see anything that he says. But, yeah, somebody on the bunker had told me that Hoke tweeted not long after my long rambling column about Harsin that he was going to meet Harsin because Harsin wanted to talk to him about something. I don't know. I didn't really understand where we were going with that. It's just kind of confounding. I really like Hoke, man. I wish he was still here working for me like he was in 2012, 2013, 2014. He's got real ability. I just wish I could work with him a little bit more and kind of help him learn some things about, like, it's the same stuff I was trying to teach him back in the day. And Jay Lee can do it. Jay Lee's is good. He's really good, okay? But I just think Jay Lee's kind of, he's a recruiting guy, and he kind of focuses on that, and he could be a lot more, but he doesn't want to be. Just doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like, he just is who he is. Corey W. says, Commodore and Hoke got beef. We do not have any official beef. We really don't. It's just kind of like a passive-aggressive thing he and I got going. In fact, I mentioned this on the show the other day. Every time I see Hoke, like in real life, we hang out. I talk to him. I like him. But there's something about professionally, I don't know, ain't working. Patrick D, look at this, man. This guy, unbelievable. His second massive super chat of the week. In fact, you could argue the second massive super chat of the last 3 days. Contrary to popular belief, Auburn may actually make football competitive and be an everything school. Love this day. Patrick D is one who absolutely loves. Bo is great, says Hoke just told on you again, Jay. I like it. And also Blake says Jay Lee's the go. We of course we love Jay Lee around here. We will not take easily to people who make fun of Jay Lee because he's a stud. Not that anybody is doing that. Patrick D is one who has been absolutely befuddled these last 2 months as to why the president of the university would allow Auburn football to operate at such a below-average rate and not do something about it. And he kept wanting things to change. And he didn't understand why it didn't happen. So here we are. Patrick D gets his way. I actually was messaging him earlier about that was when the Cohen thing was starting to kind of happen. And I was just mentioning about some of the people that were upset with the Cohen hire. Talking to him about that a little bit for sure. Patrick D, appreciate you, bro. Always super supportive. I am drinking. Someone asked earlier. I think it was War Eagle 0008 asking what I was drinking. It's this Pinhook. Cassidy P is going to bounce. He says, hashtag cinnamon.
Who is swag? Baby? Who is? Oh, crime. Preach.
Blount County Bigfoot Research Organization, says, what's Lane's chance, Jay? I mean, I think Lane Kiffin's going to be in this. Yeah, I don't want to go on too long here and sound like an old person. Oh, by the way, Jay S. had posted on here. I was talking to him when I was at the Advertiser for a long time, Montgomery Advertiser, from 98 until 2012, I think. I've been here 10 years now. Look at this, man. This dude, this new reporter from the Montgomery Advertiser posts this at noon, and he says, lots of stuff going on right now, but it seems like a good time to share some news. Today's my first day as the new Auburn beat writer for the Montgomery Advertiser. Holy shit, man. What a day to start. Well, good luck, bro. May the force be with you and all that kind of stuff. Wow. What a day to start. Sheesh, it's going to be... Listen, man, when this all went down in 1998 on October 23rd, that was the longest 6 weeks of my life to that point. And I think looking back on it, it was probably still the longest 6 weeks of my life. Because in those days, really, the internet as a news conduit was in its infancy. And so we were still in the regular newspaper news cycle where you write a story for the day, comes out in the morning, and then when Philip would invariably beat my ass on a story, because I was still a Cub at that time, him and Goldberg, I'd have to have a stew in it for a whole day and then try to catch up for the next day's paper. There was no midday breaking news. There was no way to do it. And that went on and on, that coaching search, forever. And I think we're going to be looking at one here, too. I mean, it's not like they're going to hire anybody next week. Even if it's Matt Rule, it's still going to be a little ways down the road. So, I don't know. Man, the dude starting for the Advertiser today, holy cow. His editor's going to be like, well, going to need a hot board, going to need a coaching update, going to need... He's going to be like, well, how the hell am I going to get all that? I don't know. Jordan S. says Prime has a relationship with Under Armour, Kevin Plank, the CEO there. I don't know that. I would like to find out more about that. I really would. Thomas D says, I remember the day he committed to Auburn, talking about Cadillac Williams. I'm from Gadsden, and it was a huge deal to us. We all thought he was going to Bama. See what I'm talking? It was huge. It was massive. It was a seismic situation for them to get Carnell Williams. And to make him even better, he was an awesome player too. Like an awesome player in college. He got hurt a lot. And then he got to the NFL and got hurt again. But when he's healthy, man, that guy was insane. And he's an incredibly nice person. Auburn alumni agrees with me again about he was in 2001, kind of coming of age at that time. Great time to do that. Oh, man. Let's see. Lila C. I don't think we've seen you in the chat before, young lady. Says, hey, JG, what a beautiful day. I know you're fired up. Gibbet says, get some phone calls. Bro, we just had Jay Head on, and I'm going to talk to my guys here in just a second. I wanted to work through some of these hilarious we got so many great chatters on this show, and also super chatters. Kenny H. says, JG, thanks for coming on this afternoon, of course, man. Glad to have you here, bro. Thank you. AU Tiger 72 says, do you think the support staff will be retained, Fabianich specifically? I don't, no one's told me this, but I'm going to tell you right now because I'm pretty good at trusting my gut on things. Drew Fabianich has a job here, period. I mean, that guy's an absolute boss. So, yes. If you're talking about him, yes. I think there's some other people in the organization that should be staying because, oh, man. Although, obviously, I think Harsin was substandard, and that's not anything crazy. I mean, it's not a hot take here. There are really good people in the organization. Listen, man, when you got a football team that sucks, like, there's still some good players on it. There's a lot of reasons why a team can stink. And there's a lot of reasons a coaching staff can stink. But Drew Fabianich is one of the stars of this staff, period. War Ready says, Jay Lee, do you think Cohen's statehood would negatively impact Lane or Hugh coming to AU? Do you want me to answer that or do you want Jay Lee to answer that? Because if you want Jay Lee to answer, you're going to have to go to Jay Lee's show, I guess. If he's got one going, I don't know. My man Nick S., what's up, bro? I mentioned him earlier. I'm curious to see what offensive changes, Cadillac is going to make. My guess is that it's going to be pretty, minor. It's not a good time or a good way to make big changes. Had this been right in the beginning of the off week, as I would have suggested, as Patrick D would have suggested, as many of you did suggest, that would be a different deal. Oh, War Eddie says JGT. Okay, well, I will answer it then. No, I don't think Cohen's previous allegiance to Mississippi State would have any effect on Lane Kiffin or Hugh. No, definitely not. No, I don't think so. I don't know specifically about with Lane Kiffin. That's kind of an interesting case there. But definitely not Hugh Freeze now. Here we go. What's up, MPW Digital? It's usually Neil. Says amen to that, Jay. Godspeed to that dude. My man. Contrarian says Bennett Durando did a good job of the Advertiser. He did indeed. He's now he's in Denver now, Denver Post. Moving on up, man. That's what I like to see. I like to see the young reporters on our beat move up because it's a tough beat, man. There's a lot of dudes and gals, but in our case, dudes who have been here a long time. I've been doing it 25, 26 years. Jason's been here as long as I have. Philip does a great job. Mark Murphy's been here since the 80s, early 80s. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Nate. I hired Nate, Christian. It's a great beat and a lot of really good reporters, and it's hard to break through here. And the fact that Bennett held his own at such a young age really tells me something. AUBK, what's up, Nick, by the way? Was giving you some love earlier. I don't know if you were watching, though. AUBKV says Fat Tom 22 for Bunker President. Fat Tom had the thread about this was going to happen today, so he's right on the money there. Okay. Oh, we also got number 19 in the house. Says, what's up, JG? I got to use my GIF today. It was a good day. He got to use his own GIF. Not many people can use a GIF of themselves, but he can do it. He can pull it off. He is his own meme. and he's a good meme. Stephen Loftus notes that Scott Frost could be available. He'd be cheap, right? He would be cheap. Okay, I will take the do not disturb thing off here, which means that I can't hear anything, but we'll see if we can get Alpha on here. Alpha, you there, brother?
Not many people. Fire Harsin.
What's up, Alpha? How you been, man?
What's up, Slugan?
Nothing. Usual thing. I haven't talked to you since I saw you over there in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I haven't really been watching their games, honestly. I think the Georgia game is probably the only game I've watched this year.
Yeah, and after that, you just checked the fuck out, didn't you?
Yeah, and I only did that because I was at a friend's place, and they were all Georgia folks, so got to get barked at for a few hours.
Yeah, for folks who didn't know that I had a chance to meet Alpha over in, I guess, North Atlanta. I was going to a Raiders party up there in North Atlanta, and Alpha Tiger came by to see me and hang out with me and my wife, so we appreciate that, bro. It was fun.
Yeah, enjoyed grabbing a few drinks with you and watching the Raiders. I think they were playing the Chargers that day.
Yeah, it was the first day of the season, yeah. Anyway, what are your thoughts today, Alpha? Man, you're probably fired up because you thought that Harsin really sucked, didn't you?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it's about 2-3 weeks too late, but I'm glad they went ahead and pulled the Band-Aid. I found it interesting that they did it the same day as we hired our athletic director. I don't know if that was by design, or do you think that's just kind of how it fell into place?
Yeah, I think it was by design for sure. Absolutely. I think I just missed on how long Cohen had been in the picture because I had not heard his name, and so I didn't know he was involved. And then all of a sudden he shows up on the scene and takes over the whole scene, and I'm like, whoa, where did this dude come from? But I think they had just been really quiet about it.
Why do you think that they waited till they had an AD? I mean, the decision to fire shouldn't really matter. I mean, obviously he hasn't been there long enough to actually assess it, but I mean, certainly want him on board a month before you hire a new coach. But
yeah, listen, man, the time frame, I would have done the same thing you wanted to do. I would have run him after the LSU game myself. But as long as it's over now, that's fine. It's a weird way to start for Cohen, though. Like, he gets hired and 19 minutes later, somebody else decides they're going to fire the coach. It looks a little weird, but it's not something he can overcome that. It's not a big deal.
Well, I'm sure he knew before he signed on board what was going to happen.
Absolutely.
But, do you think the Boise assistants coach out the rest of the year? Do you think Caddy has to stay in that one way or the other? Or?
I suspect they will. That's what coaches do. Keesaw's one that is like so personally tied to Harsin that maybe he would not coach. I don't know, but the other guys will. Yeah, for sure.
Was his buyout negotiated at all, or do you think we're paying the full amount?
I would strongly suspect that Auburn's going to be paying the full amount just because he's such a, he's an outlaw, man. I mean, he wants all the money that he's owed. And I mean, honestly, I would probably do the same thing. He ain't soft. And also, he's always going to have February. He's always going to have the fake, or not the fake, the failed coup to hang over their heads. And the president knows that. I think that's part of the reason they were so soft with him.
Well, I think he did himself a disservice if he was hoping to have a career after Auburn in terms of he almost should have come to the table, taken less money, and be candidate for Arizona State or some job like that next year, which I think he could do. He just was a terrible fit here. We should have just fired him in February and been done with it. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way he was going to get out of this thing, but I mean, he's still got $15 million coming, so he's Gucci. That's going to be a lot of trips to Mexico, man. Lots.
Yeah, Cancun. I wonder what their reward system is for their resorts down there. But,
he might be able to buy like a little enclave, bro, for him and Aunt Kelly and whoever else,
So if you had your pick, I mean, obviously I've heard all the candidates discussed, but who would you want personally?
If I had to pick, I would probably go with Deion Sanders. But that's just me, and I probably need to have more conversations with people before I do that because I don't know a lot about him as a coach. He's only been doing this 3 years, and he's been in the SWAC, which is like kind of operating in relative anonymity,
Right. And I think Prime would be a good hire. I think, worst case, he doesn't win 3 or 4 years, but I think we would recruit lights out, and you're going to have a really good roster. So even if he didn't win, we'd be in a better position 3 or 4 years than we are right now.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bring in dudes. I think Matt Rule would bring in dudes too. I'm just almost positive of it. Now, I know he hasn't recruited in the SEC, but the way that he approached the job at Baylor and fixed that situation so quickly, and the way that he approached recruiting there. He literally got a helicopter, went on a barnstorming tour that went on for like weeks, where he tried to go to every high school in Texas. And, I mean, that is an absolute challenge. But he came pretty damn close. He understands and he gets it. And he also has NFL experience. So I think he would do it too. But I just think Sanders is the kind of guy where you've got that personality that would win against Saban. And the personality war would win against Bolcut about, if it comes down to the coach. And for a lot of kids it does. I think Deion Sanders would inspire them. I really do.
Do you think what he did at Baylor would translate to the SEC? I mean, obviously, the Big 12 is a different conference and a much worse conference players-wise.
Yeah, definitely defensively it's worse. I mean, I don't know. I'd be willing to think about it at least. I mean, the guy's got a lot of experience, and he's taken some pretty shitty situations in college and turned them around pretty quickly. So, I mean, Auburn's got a lot of things going for it, and it doesn't have to suck. Auburn should be good all the time. It's got a ton of money, a ton of fans that care, a lot of money. I mean, and then they have some inertia. I mean, they just won a natty like 12 years ago. It ain't like this bullshit where it's like, we won national championship in 1930. Like, geez, it was like not that long ago. 3 Heisman trophies,
well,
Chuck Barkley, Frank Thomas, Cam Newton. I mean, come on, man.
How do you think we get the offensive line turned around? I mean,
Portal, and you get somebody, and you get an offensive line coach who can handle it. You get Matt Luke, somebody like that. Matt Luke could coach an offensive line, and he'll develop these dudes. Go get him.
Did he quit Georgia, or what happened there? Do you know?
Well, he got a really nice payout from Ole Miss, and then he obviously hit the pinnacle at Georgia. I mean, they won a natty, and I think he's just chilling, man. Like right now he's playing golf and just kind of hanging out in Georgia right now, and he's got enough money to do that, and he really likes hanging out with his wife, and he's living the life that I would live if I was in his situation. But I think you could get him back. I think Hugh Freeze can bring him back. I think Lane Kiffin might be able to bring him back. I don't know. Somebody can. Somebody should.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to hire an elite offensive line coach. I mean, that's where. I mean, even the portal. I mean, you're taking players that didn't start at other schools. So, I mean, we've got to get numbers. I get that, but I guess from a development standpoint, you got to get somebody that can develop them and start signing 4 or 5 stars moving forward.
I would take Chris Kapilovic from Michigan State. He's been doing a hell of a job up there and other places. So, I mean, there's dudes out there. Doesn't have to be, J.B. Grimes all the time. Will Friend. You can go get guys. Shit, that's
Cohen's
fixable.
not going to bring Leach.
What now?
Cohen's not going to go after Leach at all, is he?
No, I don't have any reason to believe that, no. I don't think he's a fit here. Yeah. So anyway, Alpha Tiger, you're an absolute stud, man. I really appreciate you being what you are, like on the board, on the show, all that. You're great, man.
I try. I'm sure my company wouldn't like how much time I spend on there, but they don't have to know.
Well, you think it's bad for you. What about Rice, huh?
Oh, if Rice worked for me, he'd been fired a long time ago.
You better be lucky then. You better be glad you're not his boss.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Dave.
All right,
Have a good
bro.
one.
See you, man. We got Why Not AU calling in, the absolute legend. What's up, Why Not?
Oh, it's a good day, Auburn football fans.
Man, I know this is a day you've been savoring, man.
And everybody else.
I know you've been wanting this day to come for a while, man.
Oh, I just got to where I couldn't even stand the sight of the guy on the sidelines anymore. It's just bad.
That's bad.
It was that bad, man. It just I don't know. We made a bad hire. We made a bad decision, but that's all in the past now. Time to move on. That's what we're doing today. Today is a new day.
What did you think about the president dropping 2 bombs at once? Saying Cohen in, Harsin out, done deal.
I thought it was great. I think that I like the idea of, and people were saying, well, we may have gone off to this Arkansas AD and swung and missed. Who cares? We got this guy, Cohen. I like that he's been a coach before. I like that he's got SEC experience. He knows the stakes. He understands the environment, and I think that's good. I think he's proven that he can also understand when he makes a mistake by hiring Joe Moorhead and then go and
and make up for that mistake by making kind of an out of the box hire by hiring Mike Leach, who actually gives Mississippi State a chance to be competitive. And we'll see, man. But I think Dr. Roberts did a fine job, and now we move on to the coach. And I'm hoping that this process continues in the right way.
You got a feeling about the next coach? You got somebody you're favoring, or you think would be the right choice?
I don't know, man. It's all over the map for me, but as I have watched football change, as I watch it continue to change into the future, and as I see where Auburn's at, I just think Deion Sanders is the right hire for us. I've gone back and forth over it, and is it a risk? Yes, but I think it's in this era of NIL, et cetera, I think it's a calculated risk. I look at Tennessee as kind of an example. I think Heupel's done really well, but one thing you got to understand is Jeremy Pruitt brought in a lot of top talent there. Yes, some of them left, but that guy could recruit, and so the cupboard was not bare when they got Heupel in there. And I think with the right quarterback who came in, he's automatically taken them from the ashes. And so I think we can do that. I think Prime can bring in the talent, and then I think we can work from there.
I'm with you on that. I think that guy's got some greatness on him, and he would be, personality-wise, he would be able to stand toe-to-toe with Saban and with everybody else in this country, And he walks into a living room, and he's going to be able to make an impression. And I think that's key for Auburn right now.
Yeah, and Auburn needs to think about the bigger picture. It's about football, but when you start to put you've got to look at higher education and college athletics as a whole are at a pivot point right now. There's a lot going on with the cost of higher ed. There's a lot going on with states cutting back more and more. I do a lot of work with the engineering school. We're constantly trying to look at ways to bring in donors, bring in corporate sponsors, get new research grants. I mean, there's a lot of things we have to do to make up for, the money that we need to operate day to day. And so, you've got to think differently about your head coaches. They've got to be salesmen of the program and the university just as much as they got to be good at their business. That's hard to find. Bruce is like that, and I see John Carolina here on the chat. Can you imagine the content with Deion and Bruce together? Man, every time I imagine it, I just get a little tickle inside of me. So, I can imagine it, and I think this is the way we have to think if we're going to compete in this new era. Yeah,
and there's a lot of money out there. Why not? And they've been generating money for NIL, and I think now that people know Harsin's gone and they can make a really good hire right now, I think the money's going to continue flowing in. Auburn can get out of this. It's just going to take a minute, but depending on who you hire, it won't take very long. It really won't. It shouldn't.
It won't. Tennessee's proof of it. It's get the athletes there. Yes, somebody said, did Pruitt have illegal recruiting violations? He sure did, but he sure damn got the people there. And look at what they're doing now. I will say this, man. I think that we're going to make the right decision. I think we need to, be patient. Of course, I was patient with Harsin. I was wrong about him. I thought he could make it, but man, he just did not. Your article today was spot on, or your post. The guy just would not listen. He wouldn't pay attention. He didn't want to play the part. I don't think he gave two shits about Auburn. I think he cared. It's coming clearer every day. I think he did care about the players, and he cared about being a football coach, but he didn't care about Auburn, and he didn't want to listen to what worked at Auburn and make the adjustments. And for that, adios, buddy. We're glad you're gone. So there you go.
Never to be heard from again at Auburn. That's for sure. That's it, man.
Yeah, and did we do him dirty? Okay, well, yeah, I'm sure there's some people that did him dirty, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of players that left that did not have a good taste in their mouth for him. And we kind of just went off on that and just said, well, let's just keep on moving. Nothing was found. I mean, the outcome just sucked. So it's time to move on. And it's time for me to move on because I know we got a lot of other callers, so I want to be conscious of that. But great day today. I hope everybody understands this is a new birth for Auburn football, and let's hope we do the right thing. I think we will.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, and thank you for the super chats, man.
War Damn Eagle, man. It's my pleasure. Great group to be a part of. You guys do a heck of a job, and I appreciate everybody on the bunker weighing in. Got some really good content today, some funny stuff out there. So appreciate everybody having a good time, enjoying this as an outlet for all of us, and let's go kick ass. It's time to go beat Mississippi State's ass this weekend.
All right, brother. We'll see you, man. Thank you for calling.
Later.
See you.
Bye.
Love the attitude there. Beat Mississippi State's ass. That's right. It's still a game week. Now we got MWD on the hound. What's up, brother?
What's up, JT?
Word. You were referenced earlier. Did you hear your ears ringing?
No, I was on a conference call. Who said what about me?
You're a Prime fan,
I
right?
have to fight.
You're a Prime fan, right?
Well, actually, I kind of think I'm coming around to be.
Oh boy, that's what I'm talking about. I forgot what the specific reference was, but it wasn't mean. It was funny. It was like a nice one. I don't know. What are like your? I can't think of you right off. Like, what are your big soapbox issues right now?
Nothing. It's a good day.
Oh, word. Okay, got you. I know you're fired up.
Yeah, I mean, it's coaching searches are always interesting, but we finally got around to starting one. So
This is going to be a long one too, man. Shit, we got at least a month. Sheesh.
I do think. I mean, you can tell me, but I think what led to prolonging this is probably a little more interesting than folks would have assumed. I think that Roberts was methodical about getting certain things in place before he made this move, and clearly, locking down who the AD was the prerequisite. So,
you have a feeling on the next coach? Somebody you favor more than the others?
I mean, everybody knows I'm a Kiffin fan. Look, any of those 5 names you got on the screen right now, Auburn's going to be in good shape, period.
Yeah, I like all of them, actually, for various reasons. Jeff Grimes certainly didn't have quite the name recognition of the other 4, but also he would be less expensive, and NIL would have a little bit more money, so that would be good. There's different ways to look at it.
I don't care about the money. I think he would build, and I say this, he probably would be my 5th choice, maybe 4th of those. But I think a lot of people have been, griping, oh no, not Grimes, anybody but Grimes. That tone is kind of out there. I think that's still informed. I think he would have an outstanding staff. I think he would rebuild Auburn's recruiting networks in Alabama, Georgia high schools, which is the key to success. I think he would facilitate NIL. So again, any of those 5, even including Grimes, who hasn't been a head coach, I think you're in great shape.
As long as it's not Harsin. I mean, really.
Right.
Anything's an improvement. I think Cadillac's going to be an improvement.
But I think they made a brilliant move with Cadillac, as Zach Effords would have been as well. But here's the thing. Auburn people, the Eagle Fly Goods know Carnell better than they know Zach. And I think it's going to generate some positivity and some excitement. Like, people are going to show up because they want to get to see Carnell coach a game. That's going to be a real thing.
Yeah, and I mean, you should, because he's Auburn, period.
Yeah, let's go crazy, Cadillac. I mean, that's our head coach right now. I sat next to him in my intro to political economy or political science class in Auburn. He was on my right, and Carlos Rogers was on my left.
Man, that's a group there.
So the guy, I mean, how cool was that? A guy that is the head coach at Auburn, I used to sit next to in a class at Auburn.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Carlos Rogers.
I want you. Yeah, I mean, not to mention, there was actually a third player that. Oh, it was. Ronnie Brown sat behind me.
Nice.
We won't go into why the seating chart was set that way with the guy with the 4-0 with those 3 players sitting around him, but that's how it worked out.
It was just random distribution, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, I didn't have a 4-0, but 3-8. Okay, that's good enough.
Look at you lamping, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Jay, here's something I want you to do, because I know you're not going to put a percentage up, but tell me if you want to do this. Go through the list and tell me of those 5, is it more likely today or less likely they'll be the head coach at Auburn than it was on October 1st?
Okay, Hugh Freeze is less likely. Deion Sanders more likely. Lane Kiffin more likely. Matt Rule about even. Jeff Grimes probably slightly lower.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's just me spitballing based on what people have been talking to me about.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think Deion is probably trending up hard. Rule's trending up slightly. Lane trending up some. Freeze probably trended down a good bit, but that's from being the favorite at one point. Jeff, meh, of that list.
Yeah, he's a different way of going about it. I mean, he's a guy that's coached at Auburn, offensive mind, has good relationships with people at Auburn, and also I think could put together a really ridiculous staff. So
yeah,
there's pluses, but yeah, splash-wise, no. I mean, Jeff Grimes going against Saban or Kirby, probably not right now, no.
Do you think who was ultimately chosen and who was considered in the 80 search, the fact that there was a preference for a sitting SEC guy, do you think that favors Kiffin in the coaching search as far as the president's concerned?
Not right off, no. I still need to get a feel for how much say Cohen has in this and kind of who he favors.
Yeah.
I got to get to know that a little bit. Now, listen, MWD, going back through the years, the AD's opinion doesn't really mean shit, right? I mean, that's been the way it's been. But maybe we're in an era where he has a little bit of say. I don't know. Maybe we're not. I don't know. I got to figure that out over the next couple 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the hiring of it's going to be, I think, it's some time before we really know this, but the hiring of the AD, I think, kind of went, I won't say it went against what we expected. It was just a little bit of a surprise as far as how it played out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that all the people we expected to be involved in the decision were even aware that was a possibility until Saturday morning.
It's going to be a 4 or 5 week search on this bitch, and we're just be going on and on about this stuff. But, hey, it's the first day. We might as well enjoy it, right?
It may not be. If it's Matt Rule, that could happen before then. If it's Deion, it's going to be interesting how we work it out with the I still say 1AA, but FCS playoffs. So that's an issue there too. I mean, I don't think it's not going to keep him from coming by any means. But that'll be something to monitor.
Word.
I got one more question for you, and then I'm going to let some other folks call in.
Hell yeah.
And you may have already said this while I was not listening, but do we know yet if Harsin agreed to a reduced buyout?
I don't believe so, and knowing him, he would not do that. And I don't think he would have any reason to do that.
Principle. Yeah, okay.
Because if they were going to get his ass, they would have gotten him in February, and I think that's exactly what he would tell them right now. If you wanted me to agree to a reduced buyout, you should have got me in February. Yeah. And he was approached about this about a month ago, maybe. And they didn't get a no, they got a nothing. They got a no response, like he didn't even acknowledge it.
I think going back to February, he'd been made some offer along those lines at least 3 times, if I'm counting correctly in my head.
All right.
So, I don't know if time was definitely on his camp side as far as negotiations go, but I don't know if the losses piling up made it more. The only thing I could think is that anything coming out, even just Auburn threatening to fire him for cause, would have made it harder for him to get another job.
Yeah. And
I think that would be something he would care about, but that's something his attorneys would tell him he should care about. I'm not sure it's something he would care about.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, he's a cowboy, dude. Like, he does not give a shit. Like, he wants every last dollar.
I love my high school coach, but he had that same mentality of, when he buckled down, nobody was telling him to do different. That a lot of coaches are that way. They're white. That's the kind of personality they are.
Yeah. MWD, you're a stud, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon.
War Eagle. Let's see what happens going forward.
All right, brother. We'll see you. There he is, MWD. That guy, man, unbelievable. We have not been able to get him yet, but I'm going to get him right now. I'm going to actually call his ass because I've been texting with him. We're going to get Rejects on. I don't know as though Rejects has been on with us before. I know him in real life, so. No, he's not showing up in our database here, though. So again, he's a guy that I know in real life. I've spoken to in real life. Dang, I got so many people calling in right now. It's blowing my shit up. All right, I'm trying to get him on the horn right now.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, Rejects, you there, bro?
I'm here, man. What's going on?
Got you, man. What up, bro?
Not much, man. Just sitting around the house. Just got done with physical therapy, being old, you know.
You're not old, man. You're younger than me. But you are walking around with a big-ass brace on your left knee, is that right?
Yeah, left knee. It makes me feel like I'm 100.
Yeah, well, you can't walk very – are you walking now?
I am walking. I am back walking. I actually walked to the game this past weekend.
From where?
From my condo.
Oh, damn.
It wasn't too bad.
But you got to show out because your wife's with you, you know?
Yeah, you know, I have to, I keep convincing her every day to stay with me, so it's hard keeping up with it.
Blah, blah. The bunker would, I'm telling you, the bunker would absolutely, their heads would blow up if they knew how hot your wife was.
I think my wife would be in the running for hot wife of the bunker.
There's no doubt. Dude, she's so hot, my wife was like, how hot is she? I was like, she's pretty hot. I mean, we could talk openly about it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen.
I got lucky.
Yeah, no, you did. You did good. Listen, about the situation today, man, the fact that this all happened in 19 minutes, are you surprised by that?
Highly surprised. I think, Fat Tom, I don't know who that dude is, but, he deserves
He was right on.
The kudos. Hey, whether he fell into that or not, amazing. But so Saturday at the game, this is kind of my timeline, and this, I don't get a seat at the table. I'm kind of like allowed in the restaurant, but I'm like maybe the cook staff in the back, so I get to peep through the window and kind of see some things. So it starts breaking that, the guy from Mississippi State is going to be the AD. That's about halftime, right? Give or take a few minutes. Well, me and Roadrunner venture, we're sitting together and we venture out in the suites. And so kind of like, if you've ever sat up there at halftime, especially when things are bad, everybody's kind of walking to this suite, that suite, kind of seeing, hey, what info you got? It's basically like Gossip Girls, but for grown men in football. So we end up at a suite for somebody who does have a seat at the table. And I said, hey, we hired the guy from Mississippi State. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, did y'all not know? And they're like, no. What? Are you serious? And I think they're dead serious. They had no clue it was coming. And this person is like major booster. I'm not going to say his name, but everybody would know it.
I think I know who you're talking about. The president.
And then I start hearing some blowback, and I'm like, oh, gosh, did me and Roadrunner start that? So I basically telling them before they were going to be told, or whatever. But I think the president, and basically what I've been able to gather, the last day or two, is this has been going on for about a month now, him and the guy from Mississippi State. And I kind of think everybody was hearing Hartwell because why? Hartwell knows all of Auburn, right?
Sure does.
He's campaigning really hard.
He sure is.
So kind of, oh yeah, Hartwell's the front runner. Well, I don't know if he ever was. Then now that I can look back on it, I think he was just campaigning. I think he was just campaigning.
I should have known that like people who campaign so publicly very rarely win the job. I mean, in fact, they may never win the job.
Correct.
And that's what he was doing.
Right. Well, then the news breaks Saturday, and we're kind of all like, and then there's some pushback, and we're like, well, the president doesn't know what he's doing. Well, people I know that know Roberts, or like he knows what he's doing. He's not a dumbass. And I'm like, well, he sure seems like it to me. And they're like, no, he's not an idiot. And then boom, I guess the AD technically hasn't still been officially announced by the university. Has it? Has it been officially announced yet?
Which part?
The AD. Has the university released a press release yet? Naming the new AD?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, so Harsin fired basically the same time that the AD is basically saying the deal's done. And that's like, we always joke about playing chess versus checkers. That's really kind of a chess level move.
Yeah, it was shocking to me. But it's Rejects, you go back and look at it, though. Something, like you were saying, Robertson's not a dumbass. We knew time was running out. We knew Harsin sucked and he needed to go. So, like, you knew something was going to happen. But the fact that he had held his cards that long, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it really is looking at it. I mean, he held his cards that long, that close to the chest that, I mean, I honestly not sure 3 or 4 people in all of Auburn knew, if that. I think if you read, BTA, he's an absolute legend on the bunker.
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah. I think he put together a really good post that everybody should read. That was I think it was him. That was basically like Roberts went to all the major players. We know that happened. We know that for a fact. 2 weeks ago, he made the rounds to all the major boosters. And I think BTA's post says something like, what do you want as an AD? Boom, 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 boom. Well, this guy checks all the boxes, and I'm going to hire him. And I think that's what he did.
It's just I'm just kind of getting some word here. It looks like, and Hokanson actually wrote some of this, that they've just fired a bunch of dudes.
Did they really?
Yeah, and I could say for sure LaRondo's out. He's the chief of staff, which kind of makes sense. But apparently Bedell's out, and Keesaw, and maybe Darren Usher.
I would have got rid of Darren Usher as soon as they made me interim coach if I could have.
Damn, bro. But not Schmetty. Not Schmetty. Schmetty's good.
I would can Schmetty too.
No,
but
come on, man.
My guess, I would can everybody with the relationship there. I think there's some relationships there that you just go on and just sever,
But you can't fire the whole damn. I mean, if you fire all those guys, I mean, come on, man, that's like half the staff.
Yeah, but you got to think we could fire Will Friend, and I mean, he's got 3 assistants.
All right, I just got confirmation from an assistant coach now. It is going to be LaRondo, Keys, Usher, and Bedell. They're all gone.
Yeah, who's going to call plays? Heartline?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm still trying to get an answer because I'm
maybe.
I'm asking people who just got fired things. Like it's tough.
Right. Yeah, no. And
I got to be sensitive.
You build a better relationship. I mean, you build an actual working relationship with people. Whether you aren't employed by the same people, but you have to work with these people every day, interviews and
that's
stuff
one of the
that.
things that's hard for me is like when people are shitting on Harsin, like I know Harsin kinda, but I mean he's not like my homie or anything, but some of the other people that get shit on, like I consider Schmetty a homie of mine. Like I like him. I know him. I like him a lot. Absolutely. I don't know. It's tough for me. Sometimes.
No, I understand. And I've gotten to know Coach Fabianich here recently, and I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, is that guy a stud or what, man?
If Auburn will follow his plan, he can build a roster out.
I know he's got it right there. It's right there. Just follow his rule, follow his blueprint, and you're good.
You really are. Which if we'll keep him, put some money in NIL, which we're, like you said earlier on the show, we're doing a wonderful job. We're really fundraising there.
Yes.
And we'll get a coach that'll work and has a good staff. We can turn this around quickly because honestly, Coach Fabianich wants to turn over half the roster before next year.
I know he does, and he's got his eyes on the right players to fill it.
He has his eyes on the right players. I mean, Auburn can't. People are we got to sign offensive linemen. We can't sign 7 or 8 high school offensive linemen. We've got to sign 7 or 8 portal offensive linemen and probably 3 high school guys because we need age and guys whose bodies are ready to compete day one.
And yeah, there's so many dudes, man.
I mean, it really is. So it's crazy. But I mean, tip of the hat to Dr. Roberts. I think he hit a home run. Whether the guy from Mississippi, is it Cohen? Is that how you say his name?
John Cohen.
Cohen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cohen. Okay. I mean, whether he's somebody's ideal candidate or not, the way Dr. Roberts went about this is a home run. It really is.
It was some pretty stealthy shit, man. I'll be honest with you.
It really was. And I think at the end of the day, and I'll tell you on this coaching search, I think we'll all be in the blind because I can't imagine the guy leaving his alma mater to come to Auburn to be told what to do. Can you?
No. I mean, I'm with you on that.
Who has connections to John Cohen? I don't know anybody other than, maybe some baseball people, but there's not deep ties there from Auburn, from Auburn people.
No, not at all. He was a really good baseball coach, though. And my friends in Kentucky, I'm from Kentucky, he is universally adored up there. Like he left there as in as good a position as he could possibly leave. He's a smart guy. He's a politics kind of guy, and that's good for Auburn.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's the best. On paper, he's the best AD hire we've made in my lifetime.
Sure seems that way. Actually, Diehard was saying early on the board that he thought this was the most competent AD hire that Auburn's ever made. I don't know about that because I feel like Housel was the perfect guy for his moment.
Yeah, for his moment in time. Yeah.
Right now he would be terrible, but at the time he was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great guy in time, but running $100 million corporation, he had no experience doing that.
No, he's an SID, and he's a storyteller, and he's a politician.
Oh, I love David Housel. I was working in the athletic department for Coach Stubbs, and here comes David Housel, and I've got a thing of Skittles, and everybody's like, so I was messing with him. I was like, hey, you want some Skittles? And he rubbed his belly like he was the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he goes, oh, I'm trying to watch my weight. And I'm talking the whole room of the athletic department just hit the floor laughing.
That is funny.
Yeah. No, I love him. He's a great dude. Like you said, he's a storyteller. But in charge of $100 million corporation, probably not.
Probably not. But this was 1995, so it was a different.
Yeah, I wonder what Auburn. Yeah, I wonder what Auburn did in revenue in 1995. 20 million.
20 million, 15 million, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how the times have changed. So,
Rejects.
That's all.
I'm so glad you.
I got, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you're on the horn with us, bro. Because
I appreciate it.
Everybody on the bunker.
To call in.
Yeah, why haven't you then?
Because it's always like you're always draining during the game, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn it on as soon as the game's over, and then I get sidetracked, and then I have to listen to a replay.
It happens. Well, we love you, bro. You're much respected on the bunker, and I know you know your shit, so I'm glad to have you on.
Yeah. Man, thank you, brother, and be blessed.
All right, bro. We'll see you.
All right. See you, man. Bye.
There he is, Rejects, the man, the myth, the legend. We mentioned earlier that he's dealing with a really gnarly injury to his left knee. I think he told me what was going on, but his wife was so hot I wasn't paying attention to what he was telling me. But, I mean, it was a bad injury, and he's still rehabbing that. And I ran into him probably a month ago, so and he had been rehabbing for a while prior to that. So, that's what's been going on. While we were on the horn with Rejects, and I mentioned this a little bit, a lot of guys from the Boise crew got run. That would include LaRondo, who I have talked about repeatedly and who I still believe is an absolute stud. But he is the chief of staff for Harsin, and, I understand if you're going to – he's pretty tied with Harsin, although to me LaRondo is independently studly, but whatever. Darren Usher, who was at one time their director of recruiting. I don't really think that he was that here in the last year or so. He's gone as well. Brad Bedell, the tight ends coach, who is definitely one of the Boise guys. And I'm missing somebody here. Sheesh, I'm forgetting one person. Oh, Keesaw. Yeah, Keesaw's going to be going. So that's a lot of dudes to replace, although Hartline is definitely somebody on the offensive side that can help a lot. That guy that the names, man, at 50 years old, I'm not that old, but sometimes the names get away from me. Joe Berardi would be a great guy to kind of bump up to be an assistant coach, a guy who's got a pretty broad base of skills considering his age. So they've got guys that can step up and do the jobs here, and it looks like Cadillac, assuming that he's the one making these decisions, and it looks like. Again, I'm on the air here, so I'm trying to read the texts and signals and all that kind of stuff to figure out what's going on. Apparently, Stults put together a story saying that Caddy or Carnell, I like to call him Carnell, did have some dominion here. And made these decisions. I mean, you've got to, when you're thinking about Harsin coming down, you've got to probably cut the guys that are most loyal to him. You probably do. And Schmetty, to me, is an interesting case. I mean, he's the defensive coordinator. He's calling the plays on defense. And he was kind of a newcomer in the sense, like, he hasn't been with Harsin forever. He's the guy that was at Eastern Washington and kind of made his own name there. And then he was kind of a new guy on the scene with the Boise group that came over here. So he's a little different. And if you know Schmetty, he's just a different kind of dude. I don't know. I'm glad to see that he didn't get run. Not to say that I'm fired about anybody else. Gabe says we fired Fabianich, and if that's true, I'm gonna riot. Like I'm literally gonna riot right now. Now I have not communicated with him here in the last minute or two, but if that's true, I'm gonna be pissed. Is that have we seen that? It's hard for me to do this when I'm on the air, honestly. I mean, I like being on the air and stuff. Let me get caught up on some of these super chats for sure. Now, you saw Antonio. This has been probably 30 minutes ago. Antonio S. jumped in. If they make the trip to Jackson, Mississippi, I would bet money that we finished at least third in the West next year. Just his name and that NIL money will be set.
Who is Swag? Baby? Who is? Oh, Prime. Preach.
There he is. Good stuff, Antonio. I happen to agree with you right there, and I was not somebody who was leaning toward Deion Sanders initially, but I am now. I just think that he's got a lot of inertia behind him, and I think he can do a lot of great things. I love his energy. I love his self-assurance, and I think that he just has that Q score that would help him fight in the recruiting battles against Saban, who's a cult of personality, and also over at Georgia. You've got to have – it's going to take something special to try to beat those guys, and I think that Deion Sanders has that. So I'm definitely interested. I'm not saying he's my choice per se. I don't know yet. I don't really have a choice. Nobody asked me for my opinion, but I would be leaning that direction myself. Kanuman jumps in again, officially now a member of the Mile High Drainers. Is that right? I did not know you were in the air today. Of course, Kanuman, before you guys get too excited, Kanuman is, I believe, in that business. He's in the business of aviation one way or another, so that may not be that crazy of a thing. I don't get a mile high in the air very often, but some people might. I don't know. If he's in that business. Quan says, Schmetty survives. It appears that is the case. It's hard for me to kind of keep up with what's going on here. Give me a minute to kind of catch up on a couple signals here. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of tough for me, man, because you guys talk about these guys, and I'm never going to get on you about it. Like, if you're going to rag on, like, well, Usher's not a good example, but like LaRondo, Bedell, Schmetty, those guys, like I know them, and I like them. Like I would love that. I hang out with those guys. I like those guys. Like I understand why you're mad. I get it, man. Everybody's got to be held accountable for their shit. I get it. I'm not. You guys are not wrong. Just for me, it's kind of tough. It can be, but I'm here for it. All right. I'm not bitching. Let me get caught up on that one. Some funny stuff coming out of there. There's a basketball coach from another team that I used to cover. Okay, it's crazy. This you guys would never. I'm telling you, if I ever die, I've told my wife this. If I die, well, she's not here; she's at work. But if something happened to me, like I died, I hope that she would give you all some deets on like the people that I talk to. I talk to a very interesting group of people. I would argue that among like team writers at Auburn, I definitely talk to more weird people. Like, because there's like people in the Auburn sphere, and you used to talking to them, but I talk to people outside the Auburn sphere as often as I do people in the sphere. I don't know why. It just seems like the people that I get along with are newsmakers or whatever, coaches and shit, are guys I've met along the way. I've been doing this a long time. Kentucky coaches, Alabama State coaches, Mississippi State coaches that I met along the way, Ole Miss coaches. Well, they're not there anymore, but Coach Klein says red wedding. I was thinking about this earlier, Coach Klein. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. There are so many parallels between life and Game of Thrones or House of Dragons, too. There are so many. I was thinking about one earlier. So hear me out on this, Coach Klein. When you talk about House of Dragons, I was talking about Harsin, and I think one of his biggest problems is he doesn't play the game. Okay, he doesn't play the game. There's a game. There's a game to be played as a coach at Auburn or any other major conference team. Okay, I don't know about Vanderbilt, but you know what I mean. Ole Miss, etc. And Ole Miss and higher. You got to play a game, and Harsin wouldn't play it. And it reminds me of the Queen. I'm talking about Allison Hightower, who in the beginning really wasn't much. She was just kind of a handmaid, really. She ends up marrying Viserys. I'm not going on a long rant here, I promise. But she becomes the queen, and then she starts getting a little bit treacherous, right? She starts playing the game. And her dad, who happens to be Otto Hightower, the hand of the king, says, I did not know you had it in you. But today I realized you know how to play the game, and you can play it, and you can thrive. Brian Harsin didn't know how to play the game, and he didn't thrive because he wouldn't play the game. And it's an adjustment that Allison Hightower made. Those of you who are Game of Thrones fans know what I'm talking about. All right. Patrick D jumped in again. This guy, first of all, he super chatted a bomb earlier. Then he calls in. Now he's doing it again. Unbelievable. We don't need these coaches. They're a liability. Promote the GAs. They are better, probably. Kendall Simmons can be an interim offensive line coach. Kendall is there at Auburn. Kendall, the former Auburn Tiger, obviously, from southern Mississippi, but also Pittsburgh Steeler. And just a general overall stud, by the way. J Bell jumped in again. I'll share in your excitement. Patrick D, O and B, watershed moment. J Bell with another super chat. J Bell, we love J Bell. I love J Bell. And to think that I was fussing with J Bell back in like 2012, 2013 over some superfluous bullshit. Incredible poster. Great caller when we have her on. Let's see. MWD says Hoke is reporting Fabianich is gone. Again, I'm having a hard time kind of working on this when I'm here on the air. I don't know who this is. Sometimes, guys, you guys aren't going to believe this, but sometimes I just get texts that are like, I don't even know where they're coming from. But I got to figure out who it's coming from before I even start working on it. Where is area code 850? Let me find out where that is. You guys who have phones from that area might know exactly who the hell, what zip code that is, or what area code that is. Excuse me. That is the Florida Panhandle. Interesting. I think I know who this is. I bet that guy knows some shit. I'll wait on an answer on that one. Hearing some chat about another coach that might be out. But I got to see what's going on. J Bell, I appreciate you. 2 super chats today. Unbelievable. And of course, why not AU? What an absolute stud. For those of you who weren't aware, I'm drinking the Pinhook, the orange top tonight. That's why I was saving the orange top for like a situation where Auburn, had a great day. And I'm not really taking an editorial stance on this, but the fact that, a lot of you guys would think it was. Yeah, I had a feeling I knew who that was. Yeah. So this guy, yeah, I had a feeling I knew who this was. This guy thinks Will Friend's going to be out here in just a second. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm not trying to. Normally, if I was on the bunker or whatever, I wouldn't even post that. But since we're live on the air, I'll just talk to you about it. We're just kind of working this thing through. Normally, I'd be texting the hell out of people, but I kind of feel weird here. Chris M says, remind me to tell you my David Housel story from when I snuck into practice one night and told Prodigy about it, JG. Prodigy, of course, those of you who are younger don't remember, but Prodigy used to be like like an online service. You used to have to not like these days. You just open up your computer or your cell phone and you're on the internet. But for us, in the 90s, you had to actually get onto a connection to get on the internet. So like it would be AOL or Prodigy or CompuServe or something like that. So the fact that my man Chris M, and I knew Chris M was about my age, approximately, because he's got a son about my daughter's age. It just reminds me of the old days. And thank you for the Prodigy reference on that, by the way. I did want to say something interesting about Housel. Me and Housel are not BFF at all. We've actually been at each other's throats several times in our career together. But I always want to give him credit for something. There was a time there, your boy JG, I did not grow up in a religious household. I'm not trying to go religious here, and I won't, and I'll make it very quick, but I did not grow up in a religious household. And I came to Christianity really around 2003. My daughter was born in 2002, and it just kind of opened my eyes to some stuff. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. And I had a series of really deep conversations with Housel about religion. And he wasn't really pushing any kind of specific religion on me because I'm Catholic and he's not. But we had some really deep conversations about religion and the role of religion in our lives and the way that it kind of guides the way that he lived his life. Because I was kind of new to it at the time. And he gave me some really good insight on that. And I will always be grateful to him for that. For sure. And again, the last couple times that I saw him, I told him that I thanked him a lot for that. He helped galvanize some things for me, even though, he was not Catholic, and he was still kind of pushing it for me, so I appreciate him for that. Okay, so Janora says they just fired Keesaw on the tight ends coach, so we've talked about that here on the show. My man. What's up, D in Atlanta? I got you, bro. God, I am absolutely sick to my stomach. I have not got an answer on Fabianich because I think the guys that I've talked to it's chaos over there right now. This is something, guys, that has not happened at Auburn since 1998, okay? Now, I'm 50 years old. I was a Cub at the time. A lot of you guys weren't even around or paying attention or even alive in 1998. This is insane. This is some shit that just never happens. At Auburn, anyway, it hasn't happened in a long, long time, where the head coach gets fired and now they're going to cut a bunch of dudes out, and it's tough. It's really odd. Let's see what else we got. Quan jumped in again with a super chat. Says, "Go crazy Cadillac." He's fired up to see an Auburn guy be the interim head coach, and a guy who has been very, very cool. Carnell is a really nice human being, and yeah, he's a good dude. I've interviewed him a million times and talked to him a million times, and he's just a lot of fun to talk to. Every time I talk to him, he's just fun. I'm getting confirmation here that Fabianich is going to get fired, and I am just absolutely disgusted. I cannot believe that. That guy has no tie to those dudes. And I'm telling you, I don't give a shit where he's working. That guy can get it done. That guy's part of the winning solution. Period. Let's see, AU256, one of my main man from the greater Huntsville area, says, JGT really buying into the primetime hype. I'm letting myself get my homes. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I am. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like on the train here. But he brings a lot of things that I think Auburn could really, really benefit from. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Burner51, bro, I'm sorry for being slow getting to your super chat. Do you really know if Prime will want to come to Auburn? Any idea? I mentioned this on the show on Saturday. Observers, people who are in the SWAC. Again, I covered the SWAC in 1997 and 1998, so I still have some friends that, believe it or not, are still in the league. People that I really, really like. I covered Alabama State. Covered Ron Dickerson Jr. Well, Ron Dickerson and Ron Dickerson Jr. I also Guy Holiday, who ended up being a fine assistant coach, both at UTEP, Mississippi State, Utah, and BYU. Golly, so many good guys. Ron McCrone was the defensive coordinator there. Anyway, I'm going down the list here. Got a lot of friends in the SWAC, and they were telling me that Dion is acting in a way that makes them think that he's got an offer from somewhere. Now, look, there's a lot of places that he could have an offer from, but there ain't many places that are looking that would be making an offer right now. It's October. There's only a handful of schools that are open right now, Auburn being one of them. Auburn's really been open for like 3 weeks, right? Arizona State is one that could very well be what he's talking about. But Auburn is a much better job than Arizona State, like 55-1. Mr. Coach Klein, my man, what's up, bro? I was trying to holler at you earlier. Caddy just went full Lannister, #Red Wedding. Yeah. Caddy, I mean, I would do that. Not with those guys specifically because I like some of them personally, but you know, if you're taking over and you're worried about treachery, you got to cut the guys that you don't necessarily know. I get it. Corey says you get along with people because you're cool AF. I don't know about that. There's some people that would disagree with that. But I have a personality that people either get me or they don't, you know? And it just happens that some coaches, it tends to be more often basketball coaches for whatever reason, but I don't know, man. I get along real good with some folks, you know? Patrick Saunders says, I've got my daughter yelling, "Who is Swack?" and my wife is not impressed. I love it. Hey, I got a soundbite for you, bro.
Who is Swag, baby? Who is? Oh, prime, preach.
Let's see. Nick Enriquez says, any chance Cadillac is actually being considered for the head coaching job? Is that an option? I don't think so. But, you know, J-Head was on earlier, and he was like, let's just see what happens. You know, let him play this out. Let him coach this out. Obviously, we know this now. We didn't know this when J-Head was on the horn. Cadillac has made a lot of changes. Let's see if it has a positive effect on things. Let's just see what happens. If I'm the AD, I keep my mind open, okay? Now, my team, the Raiders, we had an interim coach last year for a whole bunch of games, Coach Richard Bisaccia, and I thought he did a pretty good job. I would have hired him. We ended up letting him go. He's now with the Packers. It seems like interim coaches very, very rarely get a look unless they're like a home run interim, which this is not. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cadillac is full of Auburn. But, the guys, he's never been a coordinator. He's never been a head coach. Like, he's not a slam dunk hire. So, my guess is no on that. Let's see. MWD was mentioning that Hoke had reported that Fabianich is gone. How about that, huh? Boy, if that's true, I'm going to be absolutely outraged. Sterling, my man, what's up, bro? He says, you're the greatest, JGT. No, you are the greatest. Sterling, he doesn't want to take credit for this. Well, I don't want to bring that up. I'm not going to put that on you, bro. But you've been right a few times about some coaching hires, so I'd be very interested to see what you think about this next one as we move along. Sterling, of course, one of the ones who has a Swoogan glass. I know we've got some official Swoogans in the chat for sure because Chris M is in here. Sterling's in here. Quan is in here. D. Lucky, of course, is in the Hall of Fame for sure. D. Lucky also in the very small group of bunks who have stayed the night in Shea Tate. We call it the D. Lucky Suite. We love having him over. I got so drunk hanging out with D. Lucky late one night in my kitchen that I don't remember the last hour of the conversation, but hopefully it was good. I hope we had fun. Ruxy Poo was trying to call in. I had no idea. Hornatius jumping in with a super chat says, I love that Caddy was the one that fired the posse. We'll give her the applause only for you because that's for you. We love you, Hornatius. Not that those guys got fired. I'm not fired up about that in the least. I mean, again, I understand why you guys are fired up about that, but I know those guys. Some of them. Let's see what else we got. El Tigre, my man. What's up, brother? It's either Freeze or Lane for him. Also, the AU marching band needs to play the Reigns of Castamere from now on. That is the, of course, like I guess you call it the theme song from Game of Thrones, which is a great song. And every time I watch it on HBO, right? My wife tries to skip the credits, and I always go, don't do it. Don't do it. Fat Crack also has a glass. Excuse me. Fat Crack also has a glass. He's one of them as well. I apologize for that, Fat Crack. Yeah, I knew that. Farm Data has one too. I know that. AUEKU, my main man. Look at that. No message offered, no message needed. AUEKU, who, well, I don't want to say too much, but he gave me some very good intel yesterday. So much love to AUEKU. Also, you guys can't hear. I can change this screen a little bit though. But that picture right there is from the Family Dog, which is a great bar. One of my all-time favorite bars. Probably my all-time favorite bar in Richmond, Kentucky, near the campus of EKU. I spent a lot of time there in 90, 91, 92. They reopened for one night on Saturday night, like this last Saturday night. And he got me a picture from there. Unbelievable. No, I saw that, man. So anyway, AUEKU got me that Family Dog and also the picture and the bumper sticker. Is that guy a stud or what, man? He says the power of the Family Dog came through. Remember, JG, a decision that needs to be made eventually needs to be made immediately. LOL, you're great. I love you, man. Also, in addition to being a stud, AUEKU is one of my fellow Montgomery brethren. So there you go. That's how you know. TM Taco jumps into the super chat as well. If we don't keep Ike Hilliard, we should bring in Jarris McIntyre. Jarris McIntyre, of course, the head coach now at Tampa Catholic, a former Auburn wide receiver, and an all-around stud, a second-generation Auburn Tiger, I might add. His dad, Cedric, a fine wide receiver back in the 70s, I guess. WPWE says, thanks for sharing rehousal, faith greater than religion. Love your show. Hey, man, also my daughter would love that Fireball you've got right there. She loves drinking Fireball. I don't know how you guys do that. But I appreciate you. I'm glad that you guys got a little something out of that. I'm just up here babbling, you know what I mean? Like just doing my thing. But, yeah, Housel's, he's an incredible guy. He really is. Sam B says, looks like Pittman is gone too. You guys were mentioning earlier about some stuff going on. I have not heard the name Sam Pittman. Yeah, I've been kind of knocked out by some of these firings today. God, Fabianich, man. What the hell? Oh, we got Easterwood in the house as well. I didn't know that you were here, Easter. He's got a Swoogan glass. Of course you do. You're one of the main Madison guys, although D. Lucky is the mayor as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I would say D. Lucky's the mayor of North Alabama, but that's just my opinion. There he is, Easterwood. Super chat as well. Pour one out for the potato posse. Some people unhappy just generally with all the guys from Boise, and I, again, know these folks, but I respect your opinion on this. And I tell you what, I'm not going to pour it out, but I'm going to pour it down my throat. Oh, Runner 24, I know where you're going. He says the Fireball has a lot of cinnamon.
Who is Swag? Baby? Who is? Oh, crime. Preach.
Yes. Reject says Rich McGlynn fired Fabianich. I need to know more about this. I'm not going to be able to get answers on the horn here like this. Because some people don't really want to text. Like, I can text to some people, and then other people, they want to talk on the phone, you know? Because it's just better that way. And I can't do that right now. So I don't know what to do, man. This is crazy. I just want you guys to know that I don't agree with Fabianich getting fired. That's bullshit. A guy is he's not a Boise guy. No. Let's see. Auburn Dad says, where y'all seeing who fired who? Runner 24 wants to hear that soundbite again. I will do it. Hell yeah, we'll do it.
Swag. Baby? Who is? Oh, crime. Preach.
Auburn Dad for Life says Jack Daniel, Tennessee fire quite good too. Timothy B says this is Auburn chaos. Yes, this is, again, at Auburn, we have not seen this since 98. This is the craziest day we've had at Auburn since 1998. No doubt about it. Now, that was the day that only one thing happened that day. That was the day that Terry Bowden resigned under pressure. That's how I choose to look at it. Now, there's other reporters, and I would trust their opinions on this. Philip Marshall, Paul Gaddis, Kelvin Sims, Neil Sims maybe, Charles Goldberg for sure. Mark Murphy, I would be interested to hear what he thought about it. Whatever. If he got fired or he quit. But that was a big day. And there was a lot that happened after that. And that was on, again, October 23rd, 1998. And then we spent the next 6 weeks searching for a coach when it was really Tuberville all along. He was over at Ole Miss. It was a long search, and I got my ass beat a bunch. I was just like the dude at the Advertiser who showed up today. Did you guys see that? The Montgomery Advertiser, I know you guys probably don't care, but there's a new reporter, the Advertiser, who started today. He started today. He literally shows up at noon and says, hey, man, what's up? Well, there's a whole shitload of stuff going on. Oh, Prime, preach. All right, I'm turning Skype back on, yo. First one up. Shit, I know. Oh, I know this guy, and I love this guy. What's up, Ruxpin?
JG, how you doing, brother?
What's up, man? I turned Skype off a little bit because I wanted to work through some of the chat, but I'm so glad that you're going to be our first caller back. What's up, bro?
You good? I was going to give it one more call in. Got off work, but so I'm in a meeting, and my phone's just vibrating. Get out of the meeting. Harsin's fired. Wasn't a very productive meeting, but I guess there was a good ending to it. So what happened? Who did it?
Who fired him?
Yeah.
President.
Okay. And I was telling people, like, we can't be judging Roberts yet. You might have something in motion. It looks like you did. But I see your list of head coach candidates. That's who we're going after? Those 5?
Well, I mean, those are the 5 that I know about right now that have been discussed. But we've got 5 weeks before this is going to be decided. So, I mean, it could be a lot of changes. And if you're looking back at like 98 when this went down in October, I mean, it was Tuberville all along, and his name never came up until the end. So they may have somebody already in mind,
Yeah. It's probably a more exciting list than we're used to over, I guess, the last head coaching search and whatnot. But yeah, man, it's a great day. I mean, the Boise boys, they're out. Wish them the best of luck or whatever where they go. But, time to turn the ship around, get somebody in here who knows what the hell they're doing, and get some recruits and hopefully some player development in the mix.
Damn right. That would be good. Recruits and player development would be wonderful, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for, right?
I mean, ideally. It hasn't really been happening so much lately, Ruxy.
No, it's been, man, and I've said this on the board, but since 2018, this offense, man, it's been so frustrating to watch. And, that goes to Gus, that goes to Harsin. But, I mean, this season I couldn't even watch most of the games because our offense just out there, in the dodgeball line looks like a bunch of morons trying to hump a doorknob.
Where I come from, we call that a monkey fucking a football. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's about what it is. And, I'm not trying to blame any of the kids or anything. I think Ashford put in a lot of heart and effort to this team, so I really appreciate that. But, I mean, we got to get real SEC football players in here, and
yeah.
And I'm happy the decision's been made. I don't know much about the Cohen guy, but if you guys and the insiders are happy with that, let's go full steam ahead. Might even get season tickets again.
Oh, are you going to be fired up again, Ruxy?
I mean, let's see who they hire at coach, but I'm edging there, that way.
Oh, you're edging. Okay, I got you.
But I don't really have much to offer. Just want to say, hey, JG, War Damn Eagle, let's give him hell.
All right, bro. We'll see you, man. Bye. There he is, Ruxy Poo. He's always been short and sweet with his calls, for sure. And if you guys remember from the quarantine days, Ruxy used to call in kind of loaded, but Ruxy Poo doesn't drink anymore. No, he is not. And so we still get the short calls, but they're even better now. We love you, Ruxy Poo. Got a Hall of Famer on the line here now. We got D Lucky in the house. What's up, bro?
What's good, JG?
I am just one door down from the D Lucky suite here. We are, we're going to name that after you.
Love it. Can't wait to stay again.
And I mentioned this earlier, but the last hour that you and I hung out drinking in my kitchen, I don't remember the last hour. I hope I didn't say anything stupid, man.
No, it was all good.
I was super drunk, and we were having a fucking great time, man. You're a great guy to drink bourbon with, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you, sir. Feeling is mutual, and that's exactly how it's supposed to go down. Last hour is not supposed to be remembered. It's supposed to be at home already, and
that's exactly
just
right.
Feel good about it when you wake up.
Where are you at today? Where are you at kind of mentally about this this decision? I know you're probably not upset about it.
Far from upset, relieved. I believe that we actually have a president who had a plan. I don't know if you've seen the reporting that the Arkansas AD actually got an offer first.
Oh, I did not know that. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Yurcich.
Oh, Yursich, yes, Yursich.
Yeah.
That is going to be – that's your
fucking
secret – that's your secret candidate that I talked about.
Yes. So the fact that that was the lead and Cohen is the one who we end up with leads me to believe that an actual professional search was done, that there was a game plan all along on how to do it, and that we actually looked for qualified people to take the damn job as opposed to the regular bullshit that we do where somebody's, golfing buddy ends up in the role.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean golfing buddy? What are you talking about?
You know how that goes. And then to put the cherry on the sundae, even though I like cherries, but still, to fire Harsin's ass the same day and go ahead and say, we're starting over, we're hitting the reset button, and we're hitting that son of a bitch hard, it could not have been done any better. I mean, this is beautiful.
Hey, man.
And I assume.
I just want to mention that there's reporting out of Arkansas saying that Yurachek was offered $2 million a year by Auburn. Sheesh.
Yeah. So he wasn't playing around. He went after who he thought was the best, and turns out the guy wanted to stay. He's going to get his counter. He's going to make what Cohen makes at Auburn. So fine, but again, the fact that was his approach, that was who he went after. Again, professionally done. Looks like we had the right approach to this. So if the next candidate in the process is who we got, okay, it seemed like the process was a good process. I'm going to assume it's going to give us good results in the end.
Yeah.
And I hope the coaching search is the exact same thing.
I do think Cohen is a nice person. I think he's a consensus builder. I think he's been a great coach at Kentucky and at Mississippi State and Northwestern State, for what it's worth. And I think he gives that's instant credibility. I mean, he's been to the College World Series, dude. He was a national runner-up at Mississippi State. It wasn't like he's some slapdick. I think these coaches will respect the fact that he understands what they've been through.
He understands what they need to do their jobs. He seems like he got the folks at Mississippi State exactly that. Got the first national championship. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
That's right.
I mean, so to build a baseball program up, then step away from that part, and then continue to support it in a way to get it to national championship levels. That's the kind of guy that we need running the rest of our programs.
Hey, D Lucky, so you're I don't want to try to date you, but you're about my age, approximately.
Yeah, we're close.
I mean, is this the craziest day in Auburn history right here? I mean, God.
Yeah, like you said, the Bowden thing was probably close, because that was like at the very beginning of like the bunker and sources for news like that. So it was very different because one, you couldn't get a true story from anybody. You know, there were some people said he got fired, some people said he quit. That whole thing went back and forth, but it was so unexpected, much like this today. Just the unexpected nature of it, even though there was turmoil and things weren't going well and whatever else. Everybody had a timeline in their head, and then for that timeline to be completely different than what anybody figured it would be.
Yeah,
it's pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, you're getting like okay. So were you on the bunker at that point?
Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, because I don't remember.
Like I said, it was just surprising. No one knew what was right or wrong. I mean, everyone had a side of the story that they were telling, and of course, all of it sounded credible at that point. That was also back when we actually had a few insiders who actually, had connections inside the athletic department and would share legitimate information. So it was odd because again, you had people that were legitimately inside the AD, and both sides were sharing their version of events. So it was weird. It was a weird time, to say the least.
Yeah. All right, so today we've lost a head coach. We've hired an AD, and 4 assistants plus Fabianich have been fired, possibly Will Friend as well, so that would be 5. That's crazy. This is a big, big day right here.
Big day. I don't know Fabianich, but I know where he came from. And I had an idea of what he did. I haven't seen any, benefits of it yet. But he was one I was hoping we would wait on and let the next coach see if he worked out. But that also gives me pause, JG, that maybe the next coach already knows that he's got the gig, and maybe we're already cleaning out offices and all that kind of stuff for the folks who are about to be dropped in.
Oh, shit, really? Oh, wow.
And we ain't even bullshitting around with it. We're getting the desk clean. We're going to get somebody coming in and dust and all of that. And we're going to hit the ground running with the new folks.
Well, I mean, are you thinking Matt Rule? Because he's the guy who's available right now.
He is, but that's what I mean. It could be something that quick.
Damn.
That's why if it's something like this, and Rule's got pro connection, that whole thing that Fabianich brought with him. Rule's probably got his own guy. Same thing with the whole chief of staff piece being gone and the director of recruiting. I don't think those hires by themselves are accidents, and I don't think it's just a personality issue. So it wouldn't surprise me if something turned around that quick.
Damn, that would be surprising. To me, it would be, but I think Prime's the right choice. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Well, I told you before. I think he has the potential. I don't know anybody that's on the list that's a slam dunk. So I think with the right structure and kind of organizational setting for him, he could be an absolute all-star, just an absolute beast, and put us in a completely different stratosphere as a program.
Yeah, he's going to bring dudes, and he's going to bring it's that Q score. Everybody in America knows who he is, and that's that energy, man, that he's got. It's infectious, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, there's the football component of what he's done. There's the celebrity component of what he's done. You look at what he's done with, the school that he had, Texas, he's just accomplished a lot in life in general that would be beneficial for young men to learn from. And then when you just, like you said, when you put him in front of people to talk about himself, one, and you got a product like Auburn to go with that, that's an easy sell. So as far as upside and potential, I think he's absolutely got the highest ceiling of any of the coaches that we have.
Word.
Now, the sad part of that, or the flip side of that, he probably has the lowest floor too, because he doesn't have that day-to-day experience of doing the regular SEC gig. He doesn't know what that's like. But again, you put the right staff around him to help give him some guardrails on what that looks like, and then let him do his thing within those guardrails. Potential's huge.
I just got a text that I'm very intrigued by, but I'm going to wait on just a second. I want to see what he says next. But it's about Prime, and it sounds like it could be good news here. So I don't know. I try not to be biased, I mean, I got to get involved in this D-Lucky a little bit more than I would have been 25 years ago, but I like Deion Sanders. If I'm a recruit, if I'm an 18-year-old senior in high school and I'm thinking about where I want to go, I probably want to hang out with Deion Sanders. I'm going to be honest with you, man. A lot more than Jeff Grimes or Brian Harsin.
Without a doubt. Like I said, he checks a lot of boxes for people just in general. When you want to put your kid with someone who's going to be principled man, a face who can show your kid the absolute highest levels of football excellence. There ain't a lot of folks that are out there that are available to do those things that are willing to come to Auburn, Alabama and coach football for us. So if you got one of those, why not give it a shot?
Word. D-Lucky, when am I going to see you again, bro?
It's on you, man. Trash Panda's got something going in February. Actually, yeah. Auburn's playing, who are they playing? UAH?
Yeah. You talking about the baseball? Yeah, there's a baseball one. Yeah. You and me and Easter were talking about this, right?
Yes. So at the very least, then, if not before then, so maybe before then, but at the very least.
Would you be willing to go back to the Nook?
100%.
Because I like Faith a lot.
Yep. Probably can do a pre and post game there.
All right, word. Do you think it'd be weird for me to ask for her number?
Nah. She knows what she's dealing with.
Okay, very good. D-Lucky, everybody in the chat's been really fired up to see you on the horn, so we're glad to have you, bro. On a weekday, no less. But,
bro, I was so excited to hear that we were going to be draining today. I don't know
yeah.
what was more exciting. Harsin's ass getting fired or us draining.
I knew you were done. I knew you were absolutely done, bro.
Yep. Been weeks, but glad we're here now.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Cheers. Y'all be safe. Make sure you check that can tonight, peeps.
See you, bro.
Peace.
There he is, D-Lucky. I think I got to sneeze, y'all. Damn. So everybody was asking about this text, man. I think Mark was asking about it too. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to say who this is from. This is from a guy I've known for 20 something years. Hold on. I can't take this call right now. I got to go through this. This is a guy I've known 20 something years, and I trust him like a brother. I don't have a brother, but if I did, I would trust him like it. And he says he's not really an Auburn guy per se. I think of him as more of a, I don't know how to describe him. He's more of a regional / this half of the United States guy. Okay, so he's not an Auburn guy. Oh, okay. The text says, Mark and others who are interested in this. I'm just going to read the text to you. I'm told there is a meeting tomorrow between Prime, we said Dion, Prime's agent, and Auburn reps. Now, would Auburn be working this quickly? I mean, I don't know. That seems pretty damn fast. But this is one of those guys, when he texts me, man, I really listen. Like, I'm watching. I keep an eye on this guy. Me and him been going back a long time. So I'm not going to say the rest of that text. But, yeah, so he thinks that and when we're talking about, when you hear someone say Auburn's going to talk to him, that doesn't mean the president. That could mean a whole bunch of people. There's a lot of unofficial people that speak on behalf of Auburn, or at least they say they are. I definitely think Auburn's going to, at minimum, kick the tires on Deion Sanders, if not, take it real super seriously. I still think there's some reluctance in the sense that he coaches a SWAC school, and that's a long way from Auburn, right? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, when the NCAA, and I mentioned this earlier today to somebody I was texting with, but when the NCAA was investigating Alabama State back years ago for recruiting violations that were going on at ASU, the agents, there were two of them at the time, the agents on the ground, they quit looking at some point. At some point, they just stopped investigating and they said, we don't need to see anymore. Like there's so much going wrong here that we're good. Like, we've seen enough. And I'm not saying that Prime does that. This is 20 something years ago, or 19 years ago, I should say. But Like it's so the problem I have is that these people are going to be starting to come by trick or treating tonight, and I'm not down there to give out food, to give out candy. I turned my lights off and closed the blinds. I said, "Hey man, I got a brain drain to do," but I'm afraid they're going to be coming by anyway. But I'm telling you, it's a different world in the SWAC, is what I was trying to say, and it's the wild, wild west when it comes to recruiting. And he's going to have to change some things probably from a recruiting perspective, although I don't doubt him at all. I don't doubt this guy's industriousness. I don't doubt that guy's – I mean, again, the Q score that guy brings is just off the charts. Everybody knows him. Okay. I'm with you on that. Let's see. I got a couple signals coming in here. Yeah, so we've been talking about this on the chat. You guys are probably ahead of me in some ways because I'm on the air with you guys. But, yeah, I could definitely confirm that Fabianich and Pittman gone. Pittman's kind of a tough one for me too because, look, man, you look at the team and the way they've been playing this year, and it ain't great. But, like, I kind of like the way they've gone from a strength and conditioning standpoint, right? I mean, I feel like they've been bigger. I like the things that Pittman has done. And not apropos of nothing, Sam Pittman is a disciple, if you want to call it that, of Kevin Yoxel. And you guys know how I feel about Kevin Yoxel. That guy say, I feel like I'm here today doing this show alive because of Kevin Yoxel. And I told him that. I've told him to his face. I gave him a hug at the spring game last year. He was there. And I said, I owe my life to you. I love you. He's the one that I was 315 pounds in 2004. And I came to him and said, I don't want to be this guy anymore. And instead of being a dick like Andy Lutz and some other people, he was cool to me. And he said, I want to help you. And he helped me. He gave me some great ideas. Some great ideas that helped me lose a bunch of fucking weight. And I wish I was a little thinner than I am right now, but I'm nowhere near where I was. I believe Kevin Yoxel saved my life, honestly. I'm not going to start getting upset about it, but I tend to get a little teary-eyed about it. But anyway, Sam Pittman is definitely somebody behind who came along with Yox. Yox is a big fan of his. He's a big fan of Yox. That's kind of a tough one. Anyway, let's go through some super chats here before I get emotional and act stupid. Real Deal, my main man, says potatoes baked. It's bunker deliciousness. My man. Well said. Real Deal, of course, one of our friends up in the Huntsville. He's actually a Huntsvillian, but he's up in the Huntsville-Madison area. And married to a really cool chick. I like her. I'd like to hang out with her again. She's a lot of fun. I like him too a lot too. They're a good couple. I like them. Auburn Dad for life, my man. What's up, bro? JG this year has a lot similar to '98, and it looks like an Ole Miss coach is on the short list. You're absolutely right. They got Tuberville from Ole Miss in '98. He said he was not leaving unless it was in a pine box, pine box. But we know how that worked out. Auburn Dad, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the super chat, yo. I have been on this phone for so long. Good golly. There's Ruxy Poo. What's up, bro? Wardan Magle, it's a great day. Ruxy Poo is just on the horn, like right before D Lucky. Glad to have you, Ruxy Poo. Great call, too. I love the way you kind of get in and out, My granddad, Wexler, who passed away in 2005, he said, stand up, speak up, shut up, and sit down. And that's what you do. And that's why I love you. Alpha Tiger says, why did Fabianich get fired? Starting to undo some of the good that was built up by firing the Boise boys today. Yeah. I don't know. Corey W. also surprised by the Fabianich thing. I don't understand that. He's not part of that group. I don't understand that. But I also would like to talk to Carnell about that. Carnell might have a great idea about that. Hornomania, my man. One of the Horn crew. Says, feel like we had crazier days during the cam stuff for sure. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I think it was crazy because the stakes were so high, right? It was such a white-hot moment. And Auburn at this point is the opposite of a white-hot moment. Auburn is just a fucking disaster and a sideshow almost, which is pathetic. It's not what Auburn deserves. But if you're going to try to get Auburn back to where it should be, then this is how you do it. Let's see what else I got. Canoeman jumping in again. 1 a.m. beaches. Hey, oh, damn. I was going to take that call, yo. That was from the area code 661, which was one that we don't see very often. So I wanted to see that. I really did. My man Sam's still in the chat. What's up, bro? I'll be by later tonight with the masseuses pushing me in a hospital bed. My man. Love you, Sammy. Bro, I always follow you on the Twitters, too. I love that guy. Let's see. JD says, better hand out those whole candy bars, JGT, you and the rich folks over there on Taylor Road. My man, Cuz, across the street, now he's got himself a stash of full candy bars. And I feel like I ought to go over there. He got those like a month ago. I ought to feel like I ought to go over there and be like co-signing on those, right? Yeah, I probably should. I can hear the people out there. They're not. I can't hear them knocking on my door, but I can hear them out walking around. I feel bad. Bradley S. is stretch in for Yox coming back. Yeah, he was big on stretching now. You're right about that, bro. Blake R. says Yox is the man for strength and conditioning. I completely agree. Bo is great says Bradley S. has a sexy business photo of himself. I would tend to agree with that. Absolutely. AU Pooch says, Jay, we need a Jay Jacobs voice moment. I'll tell you something right now, JG. I heard your story earlier about Heisel, and you guys know I love him. He's a good man, and I'm really glad that he got you closer to Jesus. I mean, that's important. And I know you're Catholic, and I've told you many times that I don't understand why you pray to Mary, but I want to tell you something. I'm glad you found the Lord, and that's really all that matters. That's what he would have told me, for real. He always had this thing about Catholics. He's probably asked me 5 times in my life, like, you pray to Mary? I said, no, I don't pray to Mary. I pray for Mary's intercession, and I feel like I got a good relationship with Mary. She's a pretty important person. And when you say it that way, they're always like, yeah, I mean, I get that. I get that. She is the mother of Jesus. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, she's pretty important. She's pretty much, she's a legend. There's no doubt about it. But I always kind of felt like he was kind of saying it in a way that was like ragging on Catholics, which I wasn't cool with, but whatever. D Lucky, who called in earlier, had an incredible call. Hell, I still have him up here as D Lucky. He's not actually on the horn right now. But we did have D Lucky on earlier. I don't want to go into too much detail, but you guys know how I feel about that guy. He's an absolute stud. Says freedom fries for everyone tonight, WDE. What an unbelievable punk. And what about this? I can ask him about what the bunker was like in 98, and he can speak on it. Unbelievable. Blake R. says, Cohen is a Mississippi State man. I'm sure he would love nothing more than to stick it to Ole Miss by taking their coach. Lane Train? I don't know about that. Cody R. says, JG, any chance of an established coach taking the job that we're not aware of? Besides Kiffin, of course, kind of like the Brian Kelly to LSU last year. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I can't really put that on the list because it looks weird, but if I put other, I bet you other have a 40% chance right now. Maybe better. I don't know. WPWE says, Jay, I had a couple of John Daly's, but now switching to Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy finished rye. Wow, that's a nice bourbon right there. I don't know what a John Daly is, honestly. I've been over here drinking this Pinhook. Pinhook, by the way, is distilled in, they're distilled by Castle and Key, which is just a little bit south of Frankfort in Woodford County. I believe that's North Woodford County. And then bottled or the distillery, I guess you call it. The facility is in Crestwood, Kentucky, which is in Oldham County, home of Justin Powell, also my wife. She grew up there. I like Pinhook. It's good. It's kind of a low proof, but we probably needed that today. Anyway, Angels Envy Rye, I'm 100% on board with. That's a good one, man. That's a real good one. Corey Dubs says, thinking about a prime staff with Caddy, Zach, T-Will, and T-Rob as co-DCs. Might be able to recruit a little bit. Yeah, I think so. I would not be at this point, I would just assume, actually, that T-Rob would end up being here as defensive coordinator. Like, almost regardless. Daryl MCD says, would his son and Hunter come too? I believe so, yes. I think that's going to be part of it, if he were to come. Brad S. says, we need Jimmys and Joes more than X's and O's right now. That guy knows what I'm talking about. He knows. I feel like the guy's played a little football through the years. He's pretty good. There's no doubt. Let's see. Effin Tiger says, let's Boise in JGT. He is rolling your house like it's tumors on fires. Harsin Day. Harsin. I like that. I love it. Ravine, holy shit, I didn't know Ravine had Super Chat earlier and I missed it. I'm glad I'm able to work back through this. Is JG, what are the chances we actually get the program moving in a forward direction? Right now, confidence is low. No, I understand where you're coming from, bro. So I love John Cohen. I love that hire, man. And the reason I like it is that he's a rational human being. He's a nice person. He's an intelligent person. And perhaps most importantly, he's a guy who's been a coach at a high level, been really, really good. So I think that he's going to inspire coaches at Auburn, whether we're talking about the next football coach or BP or others. He's going to let them know, I've got your back, and we're going to get you what you need. We're going to help get you players. We're going to give you NIL funds to try to go get those really, really top players, whether you're talking about Karen Hoppa or whatever, Coach Johnny, whatever. I've been there. I want to dominate NIL for you. We're going to be awesome. I can see him doing that, and I like him. Of course, I like Dallin Green, too, so, you know. One man's opinion. Let's see. I saw a Tuskegee. Yes, Chris M. says, y'all do know if Prime comes, he's bringing his entire staff, SMH. Y'all should watch more Prime interviews. Yeah, I probably need to go talk to him a little bit more. Mark A. says, if I'm Dion, I'm adding Cam Newton to the staff in some way. I probably would do that too. We got AU Storm 20 on the line. What's up, brother?
Hey, long time. How's it going?
Where you at, bro?
Man, I'm currently walking my kid. He needs to get out of the house, so I figured I was listening to the train figure out call in.
Hold on, man. I'm missing every other word.
Can you hear me now?
No, not really. I kind of can, but I kind of can't.
This sucks.
Holler at me when you get back to the house,
Sorry.
all right, bro?
All right, man. See you.
There he is. I couldn't really. I know you guys are going to have a hard time understanding him. I couldn't hear every other word. We love AU Storm 20. He's probably our most rational caller, honestly. Well, I don't know about that. Actually, now I think about it. Because, I mean, I would definitely say D. Lucky's probably our guy there. Oh, like the most rational, right? But anyway, AU Storm 20 is an absolutely legendary caller, so we love to have him on the show. I just couldn't hear him very well. Look at Ravine over here saying, happy Halloween to everybody. What a stud. Sterling jumping in again. Says, Jay, is Prime a top 20 NFL player? Fuck, yes. I would say he's probably top 10. Ready to get B-Matt and Stults on the horn. Fuck, I forgot about that, bro. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Let's get Stultsy on the horn, bro. I talked to those guys like hours ago, and we had some incredible callers. We had D. Lucky on the horn. We had Rejects on the horn, Ruxy Poo, Mama Doodat. We didn't get to talk to Mama Doodat because he was calling it inappropriate in times when I couldn't get him. MWD, Why Not AU, Alpha Tiger, J-Head. Jeez, it's been like a murderer's row, bro. Unbelievable. Let's see if I can get Stults on the horn here. Stults, of course, wrote a column earlier about Brian Harsin. He's probably drinking some bourbon. I hope he is. He should be. May not get him this time. I don't think I'm going to get him. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get him, bro. It says Brian is unavailable. It's tough, man. It's so sad. I have to text him and say, hey, man, where you at? That's funny. Hey, let's take this call. I don't know who this is. Well, let's see who it is. What's up, caller? How you doing?
It's good. What's going on?
Who I got on the horn?
It's Stults.
Oh, shit. I didn't recognize your number. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Did you call from another number?
Me. No, it's my cell phone number.
Dang, my bad. Usually I thought it would come through as you. Anyway, what's up, Stults? You been drinking at all?
Not yet.
Yeah, well, I have.
Have you?
Fuck yeah, I've been doing. I've been on the air for almost 3 hours.
Holy shit! I didn't know you. Oh, I actually did know you hadn't been on that long. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night. It's gonna
Hey,
be
man,
a celebration almost.
This is going to be one of those days we remember for a long time, Stults. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I almost like Halloween now.
Oh yeah, because you're going to go find some slutty nurses, aren't you?
Oh, I'm gonna find the sluttiest nurse you've ever seen in your life.
You talking about Angela Lansbury?
And take her to the Waffle House and treat her to the best dinner she's ever had.
Wow. You sound like you're pretty fired up about this, Stults. God dang, man. Hey, do you like Danica McKellar?
The race car driver?
No, that's Danica Patrick.
That's Danica Patrick. Oh, the Christmas Hallmark girl?
Yes. She's very small. And
From she was like in the Wonder Years, right?
Yes. Yes, she was Winnie in the Wonder Years.
Like I've never watched the Wonder Years. I was not a fan. Well, I've watched it. I was just not a fan.
Well, you're very
no.
You're a little younger.
No, I mean I grew up on 80s TV.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't out of my range, but yeah, I can give and go without it. You know,
hey man,
it's fine.
What do you think about this situation? All these assistants being let go, dude, including Fabianich.
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know that was for real.
Yes.
It had to happen. It had to happen. I mean, the longer the boys stayed around, the more problems Cadillac and the rest of the guys would have.
I know, man. But I didn't think Fabianich was the guy. I didn't think he was that guy.
I know. I didn't either. That's very, I mean, how long has he been here? 3 months?
Yeah, something like that. 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had hemorrhoids that lasted longer than that.
Hey, now. What?
Hey.
I didn't think we were going to talk about hemorrhoids today. It happens.
But yeah, typing out that column was maybe the best thing that's ever happened to me in the last 6 months.
Did it feel therapeutic? Is that what you're talking about?
It was very therapeutic. I was able to put out what I thought, and I was very reasonable about it. I wasn't emotional like you asked me not to be.
Yes.
And I thought I did a very good job. It came easily. That's what I want to say.
I have posted a picture of Danica McKellar on the show here, and I think she's lovely. So.
Oh, okay. All right. She was Winnie, right?
Yes, obviously. And she has a master's degree in discrete mathematics from UCLA.
What the hell is discrete mathematics?
Like beyond
is it like mathematics that doesn't want to be doesn't want to be found out that they're having an affair?
More like above calculus, even more difficult than that.
I never took calculus. I wasn't smart in math, or I'm not smart in math.
I'm surprised. Listen,
I got a 1 out of 25 on the Camp War Eagle placement exam.
Hey man, can you talk for about 90 seconds so I can pee real quick?
Yeah, I can.
All right, just talk about this day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long day coming. Auburn finally got some leadership in the president's office. It seems hiring the AD from Mississippi State, John Cohen. I'm kind of torn on it. I think it might turn out to be a good hire. It's been a good hire so far. Getting rid of this Harsin era is probably the best thing they could have done. Even with 4 games left on the season, I think hiring Cadillac, an Auburn man, will show that this team is have this team ready to fight. the next 4 games, no matter what happens. I think it's good for the seniors. I think it's good for this team, and we'll see. But I feel like this had to come because the Harsin era was going down in flames, and everyone knew it. And it was writing on the wall from maybe the beginning of the season or maybe the Penn State game. And I don't know. It's just it's a good day. It's a refreshing day. It's a relief. And I think that they'll do their due diligence in hiring a new coach, getting the best one in here, no matter who it is. And it's an exciting day for Auburn football, which I haven't said in the last 23 months.
Word.
So it's a exciting day. I feel like the fans will actually show up for the Texas A&M game with Cadillac in charge. Show the players that they care, because it's going to be, a 6:30 game, which is nice. And I think this is a turning point and a pivot point for this program.
Damn, that's good news right there.
I'm full positivity today.
What do you think about him firing all these dudes, though, man? Sheesh, Bedell, Usher, Larondo, Akisaw. Sheesh.
Keesaw needed to go.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that's no secret. I mean, he needed to go. I mean, how much do we actually know about Keesaw?
Not
after
that much.
2 years of yeah. I mean, that he has a 27-year-old girlfriend that is a realtor here. That's about enough. I mean, what do we know about him? I mean, we know nothing about him. We know his offense is not very good.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
And I like Schmedding. Apparently, he's going to keep his job, but I don't understand why, with the offense or the defense struggling so much. I mean, a lot of it has to do with depth problems and the fact that so many players are playing so many snaps. But I don't know. It's just I thought this axe needed to be cut. I mean, especially with the Boise guys, because they weren't. I don't think they would show loyalty to Auburn the last 4 games. I think it was a great effort by Cadillac to cut the loose ends and say, hey, I know Harsin's your boy, so you're either in or you're out. I'm pretty sure they would be out.
Damn. That's what I'm, man.
Damn.
You're bringing it, Stults. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. It's like a new season for me. Plus, basketball starts on Wednesday. Oh.
Well, you know everybody in the sports world. Have you ever met John Cohen?
I have not, actually.
Yeah, shit.
I have not. So I do know people who know him. Since I'm going to Starkville next week, I'm sure I'll be able to get his number and stuff like that.
No, I've already got it, bro.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. B-Matt has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to get a good opinion on him, I should say.
Yeah, that'd be good, man, because I know a guy that that would probably know about him.
Head football coach at Mississippi State?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I plan to call him this week and see what's up and get his opinion on it. So
I want to sit down and talk to him about marriage a little bit, because he seems like he's always dissuading people from getting married.
Yeah, he is. It's funny. Maybe you know what? In the time I covered him, I don't think I've ever met his wife. I know she drives him.
Yeah, I've seen her. I mean, I've seen the pictures of her, but you never hear about her.
I know she picked him up one day or one night after a late game at Wazoo, where he had been drinking, and drove him home. But that's about it.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I think he's really funny, though.
Yeah.
He was the first coach I ever interviewed, bro. Real coach.
Oh, when he was at Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Under Hal Mummy, the infamous Hal Mummy?
Yeah, well, he did beat Alabama in '97. I'm just saying.
I was at that game.
What?
I was at that game. Wearing an Auburn shirt.
Wait, you were in Commonwealth Stadium?
Yes, of course. My parents had season tickets for my entire life.
Bro, I was there. I mean, you and I went to a game together in '97. Holy shit, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was there. I mean, I went to almost every game when my sister was in college there.
I helped carry
94 and 98.
I helped carry the field goal posts out of the stadium, which now that I think in retrospect, that's a terrible idea. It's very dangerous.
I was wearing that 1997. You can picture it. 1997 Auburn pullover that was Russell Athletic that had Auburn across like the belly with the sleeves. What? Yeah, I wore an Auburn jacket. I wore an Auburn jacket at that game.
Word. Also, by the way, my man Matty, my friend Matty, who's a guy, he said that Athletics just made it official that Cohen got hired, which we knew like a long time ago. But
okay, yeah, okay, I did not see that email, so we can confirm that now. Doubly confirm it.
And also, my man was telling me that Fabianich is not even close to a Harsin guy. What the hell, man?
I don't know. I have no idea. That actually surprises me.
Surprised? We're pissed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is happening right now.
I know this
my brain is going in a whirlwind right now.
I know you probably need to drink a little bit. I think.
I probably do.
Yeah.
Well, I got Cincinnati on tonight.
Oh, you talking about the
Bengals play the Browns tonight?
The Bengals are going to whoop the Browns' ass, right?
I would hope. They went 0-2 against them last year and still made the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
I don't know. Anyway.
All right, Stultsy. We love having you on, bro.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the rundown tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have fun, aren't we?
Absolutely.
All right, brother. We'll see you, man.
All right. See you, buddy. Bye.
There you go, Stultsy. Golly, what is he for us? He writes a lot of stuff for us. And we love him. We mentioned Sterling earlier with the super chat earlier. What an absolute legend that guy is. Sterling is also a member of. He has one of the Swoogan glasses because it's incredible. And yeah. Also, did I mention that Kanuman has one as well? And also Pocket Watch. We have not seen him today, but RM says Danica McKellar is very nice. Yes, I'm glad that you agree with me on that. Ravine says, Jay, not recognizing your cell number probably means you have already been processed, Stults. Get in line with Haskins. No, man, we love Stults, yo. We love him. I think he's hilarious, man. I think he's great. Keith M says, what about Rock, Bell, and Tony? Yeah, I think a whole lot of Rock, Bell, and Tony. I don't know. I've only said this about one other coach in my life. And that coach was, you guys are like, JG, you're so fired up about it. You don't even remember his name. The coach was at Florida and went to UNLV. I've been drinking a little bit, so I don't remember exactly. But that coach, Lon Kruger. Lon Kruger, I always said, if I had a son and he played basketball, I would definitely want him to play for Lon Kruger. Rock, Bell, and Tony. I would absolutely love for my son, which I don't have a son, but if I did, I wanted to play for Rock, Bell, and Tony. Yeah, it's a fucking bug, man. All right, yeah, I mean, I got a text confirming the Fabianich thing again. I mean, I've talked to you guys. Oh, man. Man, it's been a crazy day, man. A lot of people getting fired, and I know you guys are fired up about Harsin getting run. I mean, because he's just so unpopular, but, man, a lot of these folks, like other folks that are getting run, man, I don't know, man. It's kind of tough, man. Some of these people, like Drew Fabianich is... I was talking about this earlier, man, like 2 or 3 hours ago. We've been streaming for, we're coming up on our 3rd hour now. No, we're coming up on our 4th hour. Sorry. Jason says, is he your main source? He is not, actually, but I don't text with him actually. I've met him, but I don't text with him a lot. But yeah, some of these other folks, man, it's tough. I mean, Lorando's tough, man. I know Brad. I know Bradell. Keys, you guys are kind of on your own about that one, and Usher, you guys are kind of on your own about that one. But yeah, some of these other guys, man, shit, dude. Lorando. God, I mean, he's gonna be fine. The guy has so many skills; he's gonna be just fine. But okay, so I did want to point out, just golly, man, I'm with you 100% on that. I do want to just a couple housekeeping note items here. Auburn is now officially noted that Cohen is now the AD. So we actually reported that. JT Moon just tweeted, just posted about that in the chat. We reported that. Well, if you guys go by what I said last night, I reported that last night, but I did say 80 to 85%, so that's not exactly reporting it, but I said I thought it would be done. It'd be done today. And then we knew it at like 11 o'clock or 11:30 or whatever. So technically, from Auburn, Jazz Music, you better watch it. Ariel Winter is incredible, but she's also like half my age, so I got to be careful. Man, God, this shit pisses me off so bad. Man, I've seen a minute, man. That shit pissed me off so bad. I don't understand this shit sometimes. All right, we're good. Man, sometimes things hit my phone that I just don't agree with and don't like, and I just pretend like they don't exist. I mean, that's just the way it is sometimes. Mayor Mix-a-Lot, of course, super chatted earlier. Mayor Mix-a-Lot, one of our friends here from the Alabama area. JDT Appreciation Fund. Appreciate you, Mayor. Who was at our bourbon event last December, and I'm sure he would have another. He would be here again if we had another one in January. Keith M says, "JG, keep a bottle on hand in the future." Oh, I've got a bunch, brother. I've got plenty. That is a definite for sure, right there, man. Yeah. Let's see. What was? Hold on, man. It was something I wanted to talk about here earlier. Let's see. Mitchell asked, do you think Cohen had anything to do with Harsin firing? I would highly doubt it, but asking. No, I don't. Not at all. Let's see. Shane says, Jay, can I ask why you're so tore up about Fabianich? I genuinely don't know. So, Drew Fabianich was hired like, I don't know, what you guys might know a little better than me, like 5, 6, 7 months ago, something like that. And he's an NFL guy. Okay, so he's coming in with like a different attitude about recruiting, right? He's going to assess players. And he's kind of got this, like, for me, this is just me talking, like a next level idea of what they need to do recruiting-wise, right? They're not necessarily doing what he's saying. He's just like, we need to go after this dude and this dude and this dude. And they're like, well, Alabama, Georgia, like, fuck, you got to go after those guys. Like, you cannot say, I'm not going to recruit him because Georgia's recruiting him. You figure out how you can win against Georgia, and then you fucking go do it. I feel like Fabianich, he's from an NFL perspective, he's a recruit, he's a assessor. Like he watches film and he looks at the guys, and he says, like, these are the guys that can make a difference for us. And then they couldn't go and get him. John H. says July. Thank you. I knew I met him in the summertime. I wasn't sure when. So I felt like I feel like he was the right guy to kind of help with recruiting and say, you need this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And then you fire him? You fucking fire him? Like, why? Well, you guys are getting some insight into what it's like to be a reporter right now. Yeah, you guys know what it's like. I mean, I get texts or calls or whatever, and I'm like, man, fuck. And I'm not trying to like throw you guys off. Like I see somebody says Alan L says I'm so confused. I'm just you're just kind of living through it real time here, guys. Let's see. Sterling jumps in again. What a stud. Call Neil. He has connections. What would I ask Neil about? I mean, about Lane Kiffin. I mean, we talk about it every week on the G Pitch show. Like he thinks it's a bad fit. I think it's a bad fit. He's a great coach. Although, I want to say this, and I don't want any of my Ole Miss people to be mad at me, whether that's Leif, Georgia Rebel, Avery if she's still here, Sammy if he's still here. I mean, he's really good. I don't know that he's awesome, right? Because, like, they do lay some eggs. It's not like Ole Miss is out there beating everybody's ass. Like, it seems like when they get to a really, really tough game, they don't get it done. Now, I'm not hating. Ole Miss is way better than Auburn this year. I'm not arguing that. But, like, he doesn't finish necessarily in the huge games. And that's my concern there. If I'm looking at it from an Auburn perspective. That's all. WPWD says, JG, you're not a reporter, you're the Commodore. I am indeed. I'm drinking for the Commodore's Cup, no less. It's just getting worse, man. Every text from this guy is fucking worse than the one before. All right, so I'm getting told here. I don't know if you guys might know more about this than I do because you guys are kind of reading what's going on. I'm just kind of reading what's coming in here. It looks like Cohen. I mean, allegedly, he's going to elevate Rich McGlynn to deputy athletics director. Which look, guys, you guys know how I feel about Rich. I like Rich. I think Rich is good. I think he's competent for sure. He's more than competent. And he's a good dude, and he gives a shit. So, I mean, you guys know, I mean, I got a bias in there. I like Rich. I've known Rich a long time. I have liked Rich a long time. I mean, seriously, I try to be honest with you guys. So he's going to work with Cohen, which doesn't surprise me at all. Chuck wants to know if Hartline's going to get a shot at OC. Yes, I think he will. He's definitely going to take a step up, no doubt about that, and he deserves that. Bo is great. Says, is Tim Jackson going to be co-deputy? Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. I like Tim Jackson. You guys know how I feel about that. Everybody on the bunker hates him, but I like him. I like Tim Jackson. Of course I do. Canoeman says, Rich dressed well last Monday for basketball, so he has that going for him. Rich is, yeah. I've already said enough on that. AUEKU says, maybe Senator Coach Tuberville can help out Caddy in our time of need. Dialook says, I like this. Dialook says, Hey, art department just stenciled Pine Box on Auburn Jet today, JS. I love it, man. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, man. Joshua says, is there ice in that glass? Team Neat. No, there's not. There's no ice in this freaking – no. There's ice in my freezer downstairs, which I have not been at in 3 hours and 10 minutes. There ain't no ice. I don't like ice. I like drinking straight up, okay? I would probably drink off the bottle if I knew any better. By the way, I'm drinking this Pinhook today. The Pinhook, which my man JBDC Elite, who tweets in here, or Super Chat sometimes. This is good stuff. Again, not old. It's like 3 years old, so it's not very aged, but it's delicious. I like this one. I kind of been saving this one. We got this one in May, and I was saving it for because it's like Auburn colors. Well, this is actually Tennessee orange, but you know what I mean. Close as we can get. I thought we'd drink this for like an Iron Bowl win or something like that. I was in May. I was stupid. But, yeah, we'll just drink this now. I mean, I've been drinking it all day. I don't give a shit. Blake R. says, don't put ice in your bourbons, you dillweeds. That's right. You don't do that. You drink it straight. Otherwise, you're not drinking the bourbon. You're drinking like ice water or whatever. I don't know. I'm not really down with that. Let's see. Brian H. says, I'm drinking up my bottle of black and rye, saving it for a special day. Is this the day, bro? Are you an Eagle Fly Good? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I saw you use that on Twitter, so that was pretty good. Corey Dub says, need your assistant to bring ice. Yeah, guess what? She's working, bro. She's still working her 9 to 5-er. Actually, my wife worked today from 6:30 to 6, so she's doing good. You would know that. Let's see. Auburn Dad for Life says ice and bourbon is alcohol abuse. That is how I feel about it, too. Now, listen. So BMAT was on local radio there in Auburn from 4 to 6. But I was thinking that maybe if we waited until 6, we'd be able to pick him up. What is this? Butch Thompson says, John is one of the most impactful and intelligent people I've ever been around in my career. I've seen him lead firsthand, and we competed for a national championship together. We stepped up to the plate for me when it was time for me to become a head coach at Auburn. I'm a better coach, and I'm a better man because of our time together, and I can't wait to serve him again. I look forward to Auburn people getting to know John. Again, that's Auburn baseball coach Butch Thompson, and I very much trust Butch Thompson on these things. Butch Thompson, I don't know if you guys know Butch. I mean, you know who he is, but do you know him? Butch is kind of a country guy. Butch is 100% baseball. And Butch is also someone who's very, very low bullshit. There's very little bullshit coming out of his mouth, right? Like, he's a guy that tells it to you straight. Because he's kind of from the South. He's from the South. We from the North. You know. And if he says John Cohen is the guy, then I believe that. Bring the Barn says, get B-Mat on the hound. All right, we'll do it. Just because you asked me, Bring the Barn. It's the only reason I'm doing it. I wasn't going to do it any other reason, but we'll do it. Where's B-Mat at on here? I hear the people outside, too. I'm sure they're coming to my house. They're wanting some candy. I don't really have very much. My wife's supposed to have it, but she ain't got it.
What is up?
B-Mat, where you at, bro? You just finished your radio thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm just sipping on gin and juice, baby.
No, you're not, bro. Hey, were you doing the show with my man Dan Peck and my main man
Bill Cameron? Yep.
Bill C. Yeah.
Drive. Yep. Had a good 2 hours. A local show, hopping. People are pretty excited about the potential direction Auburn football is about to turn in.
Hey, when they're on there, do they go, it's Brian Matthews from auburnsports.com? Do they say that?
That is, yes, actually. Yeah.
My man.
But I think, Jay, I think Auburn football got better today.
Yeah?
Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Every day that Brian Harsin was in charge of this program, Auburn was getting worse. And I don't mean to kick a man while he's down, while he's on out the door. But for the rest of this day, I'm going to keep talking about what a bad job he is, and then I'm going to start talking about the future and the hope for Auburn now that he's gone.
Wow. You were done, huh?
This man never bought into Auburn. He was never one of us. And when I say one of us, I mean an Auburn person.
Yes, of course.
He never belonged. He never bought into – he talked about culture, but he never adopted Auburn's culture, right? He never loved Auburn like Pat Dye loved Auburn, like Tommy Tuberville loved Auburn, like Gus Malzahn loved Auburn. Like, none of those guys were perfect in everything they do, but they loved Auburn. Pat Dye never left Auburn. Tommy Tuberville, had he not become a senator, would probably be in Auburn right now.
Word.
And Gus's plan, at least before he went to UCF, was to retire in Auburn. There ain't no way in hell that Brian and Cass and Aunt Kelly, I think that's her name,
yes,
are ever coming near Auburn again. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, from a football coaching standpoint, he never fought for Auburn. Georgia and Alabama are kicking Auburn's ass in every single aspect of college football right now. And Brian Harsin was never willing to go out there and fight. And I will tell you one damn thing right now. For the next 4 weeks, Carnell Cadillac Williams will fight his ass off for Auburn. And we need that. Auburn needs that.
You sound fired up about it, bro.
I am fired up about it.
I understand. I like Carnell. He's definitely Auburn through and through, is he not?
He is. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this team. I like the moves that have already been made. Sorry, I'm being careful here. I'm driving through the neighborhood with trick-or-treaters. Happy Halloween, everybody. See some moms dressed up in the neighborhood, so shout out to them. But where was I? I've been...
You're just talking about... you're looking forward to this, right?
I'm looking forward to covering an Auburn team that's going to start competing and fighting and not backing down and being second best or third best or fourth best. Auburn is at the bottom of the SEC right now. There is nowhere else it can go but up. And, yes, the 2023 roster looks like straight trash right now. It does. It really does. But the good thing about the time of college football we're in now, with the transfer portal, with NIL, the right coach, the right leadership can turn it around quicker than they could have even 5 years ago.
Yeah, I understand.
So it can happen. It may not be 2008 to 2010 or 2012 to 2013, but it can happen. And it can happen in Auburn. All right, I was a student at Auburn during the best years of Pat Dye. I know what Auburn looks like when it's great and when it's kicking everybody else's ass in the SEC. I was a part of 4 SEC championships as a student. There is no reason Auburn can't do that again with the right people in charge. Okay, we got our AD, John Cohen. He's going to find the next head coach, and we'll see if they can do it right this time.
Hey, listen, Butch says the guy's really good. I mean, you buy that?
Well, I believe that Butch's and Bruce's endorsement of John Cohen, I believe, are real, right? We've been through this enough that, we see press releases all the time and quotes from blah, 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 blah. But I believe what Butch is saying, I know for sure what Butch, I believe what Bruce is saying about John Cohen is exactly how they feel about him. I believe they feel like he can be a special AD here and can help make a difference for Auburn. So, yeah, that gives me some positivity. I don't know a whole lot about John Cohen. I haven't met him yet personally. Looking forward to that. But I'm not going to make a snap judgment either. I'm going to give this man a chance, right? The most important decision he's going to make at Auburn is happening here in the next, 5 weeks or so, right?
Yeah,
that's what he's going to be judged on. And
yes.
One thing I will say about this he hired Joe Moorhead, I believe, at Mississippi State. He recognized pretty quickly that was a mistake and went and, got rid of him and got in a coach that works really well at Mississippi State and Mike Leach. Now, Mike Leach may not be the perfect coach for every school, but it's working dang well at Mississippi State. So I think he has the ability to go outside the box and find a guy that fits right. Now, Auburn may need more than that, right? They need a star to come in here and beat Georgia and Alabama, right? They need an absolute star in this business.
Damn right they do.
So we'll see how that turns out. But I wouldn't discount his ability to hire the right guy,
This is one of the craziest days in Auburn history, man. Like, head coach fired, 5 assistants plus 2 or 3 more other people? Like, it's crazy.
Yep, and it is one of the more monumental days. I think you can go back to, was it January 10th or 11th of 2011 when Auburn won the national championship, right? I'm thinking all the big days in my career covering it, right? Playing for the national championship in 2013, winning the SEC championships. This is one of those days, man. This is a day that is going to set up the future of Auburn. And
yeah. Did we lose BMAT? I think we lost BMAT, yo. I don't know what happened. I've been posting pictures of Danica McKellar while he was talking.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Hey. Okay, there you go. Somehow I pressed the mute button somehow, but yes, this is a monumentous day for Auburn. It's as big as any day I've been a part of, other than maybe the national championship back on January 11th, 2011, I think, or January 10th. I can't remember exactly the date.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I know you got going in 2001, so you weren't on this side of it in 1998. It was a little before you, but it was crazy.
Well, speaking of 98, me and Jason Caldwell were talking earlier today, before all this stuff went down, how this roster, the only one we can compare it to was the 99 roster. As far as the 2023 roster, what it looks like, as far as how down it is. But the big difference between 99, he thought, and I agreed, and looking at 2023 is how much better the SEC is now.
Yeah.
So, the new person is going to have a lot of work to do. But if they find the right person, he can get it done.
Word. B-Matt, it's been a pleasure having you on, bro. I hope that your time with Dan Peck and my main man, Bill Cameron, went really good, bro.
It did. Bill was on the IR. He had surgery on his shoulder, I believe, or his arm. So he was calling in, but he had that earlier today, and he was calling in, and he was there on this big day. So we're gonna miss it.
All right, bro. It's been a pleasure having you on, B-Matt. You're a legend, obviously.
Yeah, man. See you tomorrow, bro.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Peace.
Bye. What up, y'all? There he is. Brian Matthews have Stults and B-Matt on. Hold on. Give me 20 seconds. Hold on. All right, guys, the administrative assistant is here, and she says you need to get the hell off the air. A couple other things. We got a little bit of chatterness we got to talk about. God, we have so many folks on. I can't believe this.
I know, but it's time to go. It's Halloween.
Courtney says it's time to go. It's Halloween. I don't know what Halloween has to do with anything, but. Hey, did you see I had a picture of Danica McKellar on here? Yeah, that's literally apropos of nothing, but we were talking about her earlier, and I thought she was really cute.
Great.
Do you like her?
She's fabulous. Let's go.
Also, Rejects called in earlier. Is his wife hot?
Yes, we got to eat.
She is hot. Would you just say yes?
Sure. Yes,
you don't remember?
Yes. I said yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to – wait, hold on. Timothy says, JG, the wife is ready for all this Auburn chaos. I hope your marriage survives. Best wishes.
Been through it for 25 years.
Yeah, she's been with me for – well, we've been together like 30 years.
I'm saying Auburn shit.
Just Auburn for 25 years, so, yeah. EK says, hey, say hey to Courtney, my man. What's up, bro? All right, we're going to wrap it up there for real. We've been going for 3.5 hours, and I feel like we've covered it all for the moment. So we're going to probably do – Boa's Great says, Jay dressing as a sexy moderator tonight. Interesting. We're gonna probably do more of these during the week because we got to keep the shit. Reject says, "What's up?" Reject's in here. Okay, so we probably need to do more of these, but I'll keep you guys updated on this. I mean, it's been kind of a weird day, right? It's been one of the craziest days in Auburn history to fire the coach, hire the AD, and then fire like 6 assistants plus 2 more people. What an incredible day. Well, crazy day. I'm not saying it's great, but it was incredible. Mama Dudette says, sorry I missed most of it. Dude, bro, I know that you were calling in. I'm sorry I missed your call. You know I love you, bro. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I will catch you guys. We'll probably do another show. If I had to guess, we'll probably do another show before the week's end. But no matter what, we'll do a show for the Mississippi State game on Saturday night, no matter what. But anyway, guys, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. I love you guys. Peace. Let's make great decisions. Peace and love. See you.